highlighting Gachagwa's time in office. It is in its announcement in the newspapers across the country. The residents of Mombasa will express their views at the Okoh Social Hall, while those in Kwale will do so at the Kwale Cultural Center in Kilifi County. The citizens there will be at the Coastal Area, that is Development Authority in Kilifi. In Nyeri County, residents have been asked to present their views on the future of Gachagua, whether he will continue serving as the Deputy President at the Nyeri Cultural Hall in Nairobi. Kenyans have been asked to present their views at the KICC. In addition, for those who will not be able to present their views physically, have been asked to submit their views via email at impeachment@parliament.go.ke before Saturday, October 5th. Meanwhile, you have an opportunity to express your views on the 11 impeachment grounds against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. These after the High Court declined to stop the exercise yesterday. Now, Gachagua had filed an urgent application seeking orders to stop the exercise across the 290 constituencies in the country. He cited lack of legislative procedure. Justice Bahati Mamuye directed applicants to serve respondents ahead of the mention on Wednesday next week. Gachagua is accused of, among other things, making inflammatory and insightful utterances, undermining national unity and contradicting the president on critical matters. This comes even as Makueni Senator Dan Mazo defended Gachagua, terming the impeachment as a big joke.
What is happening is mob justice on Gachagua, and I don't think they've thought of it very carefully. If it is his wealth, he should just fill up his wealth declaration and be given an opportunity to explain. You know, Gachagua was always wealthy. We were in parliament with him. I know quite a number of properties he owned even before he became deputy president. The only thing he's accused of by the MPs, and Kenyans must now lynch the MPs. There is money which is given to him, which is supposed to be confidential budget. Now, this confidential budget, the MP is expected Gachagua to be calling them every Friday to give them something. This is what he's being accused of. So the House is just wasting our time.
A section of members of parliament from the Mount Kenya region who initially supported the impeachment motion against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua from office have now changed their stance. Now, the legislators have stated that they will not continue the efforts to oust the Deputy President. These legislators, hailing from Gachagua's stronghold in Nyeri County, instead expressed that what is needed now is a discussion aimed at reconciling the Deputy President and his boss, President William Ruto.
Our people, when we ask them, they do not see this as a priority. They think there are other priorities that we should be focusing on. And as representatives of the people, I think it behoves upon us to listen to our people and do what they have asked us. So on Tuesday, I will be voting no.
After researching na after kusoma hiyo kitu yote, nikaona our deputy president, hii ni kitu anaweza kaa chini na president wetu wajadiliane, kwa sababu Kenya ni kubwa kuliko sisi wote. Na kwa hivyo ndio sababu nimekuja na tumewasikiza, na watu wa Nyeri wamesema deputy president hawataki atolewe.
Very well, you have an opportunity to present your views today as the public participation on that impeachment motion continues across all the 47 counties. Remember that Standard Media Group will be camping today in various parts of the country as we bring you the very latest on this, including a special program on KTN News. Be sure to be part of that exercise. Now, the High Court has suspended the new funding model for higher education that requires help to apportion loans to students based on their families' monthly income. Now, Justice Chacha Mwita issued the order following a petition filed by the Kenya Human Rights Commission and Elimu Board Working Group. Justice Mwita warned the respondents from implementing the new model until the petition is heard and determined. The case will be heard on the 16th of December. And 10 people are now known to have contracted the Mpox virus in the country after the Ministry of Health confirmed one more case in Kericho County. The cases are now spread across 10 counties, including Nakuru, Taita Taveta, Busia, Nairobi, Mombasa, Makueni, Kajiado, and Bungoma. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
.5 SpiceFM, Kisumu.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Revenge is for children. It's for kids. When you grow up, you realize the best revenge you can take on somebody is to ignore them.
I'm just new in politics. It is not everybody's cup of tea. That's why some people come in one term and that's it for them.
Political parties in this country do not have ideologies, whether luring or otherwise.
And that is the effect of corruption.
Any time an offense occurs anywhere in the country, it is the job of the Inspector General to look into it. Whether it's corruption, whether it's murder, whether it's petty, that is his job.
If we have chosen to be a corrupt nation, then we produce corrupt leaders. Everything then becomes chaotic that you cannot be able to change a nation.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
If you go out of this country and come back the same person, then you have a problem. Buy land, 1 million. Put it there for 5 years. What's the purpose?
It'll have increased in value.
No, that's the thing. That's darkness. That's an eclipse. You don't do that.
I hope you don't believe that a hustler is a poor person or that all hustlers are poor. I've seen that conversation.
Tell us, who is a hustler?
Who's a hustler? Hustler is a person who is making a living through hard work.
Corruption in Kenya is a political accusation. The people who are actually corrupt are not pointed fingers at.
Kenya is not free. Kenya imeshikwa na mateka. It's under siege.
Have you seen that lodge on Nyeri Road? Very high fence. You can't even
windows
sleep inside.
Up near the ceiling.
Yes. And if you walk there at midnight, you see bats the size of cows.
And when it rains, it doesn't rain on that building.
Yes.
When you're at All Saints and it's raining, it doesn't rain on that building.
The things people will believe.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
This is one of the hottest show that we can ever miss in the morning, and it's a show that really gives the real situation in the Situation Room.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you guys so much. Nduthai, nice meeting you. Even beautiful in person more than in photos.
Say that again. Character is like pregnancy. You cannot hide it. People hiding here and there, but after 2-3 months, 5 months, now you see. So that is why the attitude that you are showing us, you're pregnant.
It's like what my grandmother would say. You cannot pickpocket a naked man.
How's that? It's communal, isn't it?
No comment.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
You tune into Kenya's biggest conversation. My name is Ramanyan.
Amen. Amen.
So 1 hour is over?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It gets over.
Can you imagine
in 20 minutes.
What the big boys have also done?
I'm very proud of myself. When you understand about partnership in politics, it's like the way marriage is these days. When you're looking for a wife, you're like, maybe you can help me pay for fees as I pay for the rent.
Why should you have a lioness living in your bedroom?
I have to tell you a story. I went for a prayer meeting, which was called for the spouses of candidates for senators and governors. And when I got to the gate, the lady who was the secretary, she refused to. She's telling me, no. Leo tunataka wa mama. Leo ni wa mama. I'm telling her, no. She said, no, sio siku yenu. And I thought, there's a problem here, because if it was a man, but this was a lady.
It will be called First Ladies until you change the name.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Good morning and welcome to Friday. What's happening in terms of traffic this morning? Took a quick look at the Thika Superhighway, where traffic has just started to build up as you're getting towards the city right around Survey. Before that, we're not going to see too much. There's a little bit of traffic on Kangunda Road coming in from Joska, and it will get us through towards Outer Ring at that junction. And then inbound traffic to the city is already doing the thing. On Gong Road this morning, it's also starting to build up. But apart from that, we're not seeing too much apart from Langata Road, which has some traffic as you head out towards the Nyeri Stadium roundabout. The Southern Bypass, interestingly enough, has a little bit of traffic here and there. Wonder what's going on and who's going where. We'll keep an eye on things as we get into Friday proper. Let's talk SpiceFM, KE on X, hashtag the Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
It's Friday, Imefika, first Friday of October. And how's that?
Fantastic.
How are you?
Myself.
Eh.
We are fine. Me, myself, and I.
Very good.
We've had a conversation and we've decided that, let's do this thing.
And this thing is which?
Wake up, look alive, do the dance.
Fanyeni hivyo.
Smile.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it. City, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Eh.
Yes.
Very good.
It's particularly cold today.
Where's your hat?
At home.
Why?
Did you forget it?
Home?
No.
That's where the hat is. In this case.
No, this is letting, this is that paragraph of letting air get into it.
Eh.
Well done.
Okay, yeah, it's actually particularly cold today. My throat is burning a little bit more today. I think I'm at the peak. Hey.
I had to do the whole lemon ginger thing to get a...
You did, eh?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Hey, I was telling you guys I'm wearing glasses with this whatever.
So are you seeing me clearer?
No. Absolutely no way. I'm seeing nothing.
It takes time.
Things are just moving up and down like this.
It takes time. It's your eyes. By the time we come to Monday, you'll find it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, you've got this progressive.
Yeah.
Yes, your eyes are progressing.
It's progressively adjusting.
Believe me, give it until Monday, you'll be fine. But before it adjusts, it actually confuses your brain.
Oh yeah, I can't wear them when walking.
No.
Or driving. I'll fall.
You will fall.
Hey.
Because sometimes you actually think the ground is lifting before you. Yes.
Apparition.
You take a step which doesn't exist.
Yeah, it'll take some time for your eyes to adjust.
Hey, sawa. Ndu, when is the coronation?
How are you, first of all?
I am seeing Marudurudu, as you can see. I'm seeing Marudurudu. Dim. I'm seeing Dim. And I haven't been boxed. So when is the coronation?
So it's on the 10th, 11th, and 12th. We don't do things anyhow.
10th, 11th, and 12th.
So the actual thing is on the 11th.
Because it's like a
Friday.
wedding.
Sorry?
10th, 11th, I'm opening my calendar.
So it starts on 10th?
So that's next week, Thursday.
Yes.
Friday.
It starts on 10th. So the actual ceremony and installation is on Friday.
The 11th.
Yes.
So what happens? How is the installation done? Is it like what we saw with King Charles? They go to church?
They don't go to church. No, but I mean it is in the township, it's in the village.
Is the wife involved?
His wife. Ceremonially.
Assuming it's one wife. The king can have many, right?
Yeah, but he has one wife. Uncle Alex has one wife.
So what role does the wife play in the coronation ceremony?
So she's the first lady of the...
So is she also coronated as queen?
No.
Oh. So king is just king.
Yes.
There's nothing
she's of course by his side,
yeah.
And she's recognized. But in terms of giving rulership capability, it is conferred upon him.
Well, okay. Well, even for Charles, the rulership capability is on him, but the queen is a queen consort. Yeah. So she's his consort. So is now your auntie going to be the consort
I don't know, it's
Queen
all very
consort.
British, isn't it? That consorting thing and consortium is quite British.
Hata kwa kanisa bibi ya pastor.
Yeah, but of course, that's what I'm saying. She's
Kubwa.
recognized. She's recognized as the Ndiwanyi, so that's like the woman of the people.
Okay. So when are you going?
On Monday.
The coronation is on Thursday. You're going on Monday.
Sunday night, I'll be there Monday morning.
Oh, it's Nigeria. Yeah. You'll get
It's
there on
not-
Wednesday.
It's not England.
You'll get there on Wednesday.
I'll actually be there by lunchtime on Monday. I know what you're doing, and I'm ignoring you. I'm looking at CT.
So, which flights are these? Leave here and go there directly.
No, this one first goes to the UK.
We go see our relatives in the UK first.
Then it comes back to Ethiopia.
Down like that. Then crosses over.
It goes to Egypt. Then lands in Ghana. Then from Ghana, now you know Nigeria just next.
Okay.
Just next door.
Yes.
Yeah. So you'll be there by Monday afternoon, Monday evening, Monday
Lunchtime.
night. Monday night Nigeria time, you'll be in Nigeria.
I'll be sleeping in my bed.
Very good. Alafu sasa Wednesday ni kuchagua mchele ni nini?
No, there is those.
Kupil viazi. You know all those things. That's why you have to be there early.
I'm touching nothing.
Fanya minji.
I'm showing up. The royal ones are showing up to sit down.
You know kupil minji.
No, somebody has to do those things.
The royal ones are coming. Those ones, they already know what they're doing.
Who are organizing yam fufu.
For such things, egusi, ogbono, ofe sala, all those things.
Sawa. So kuanzia Monday next week tutakuonea tu kwa nini kwa mtandao. You'll be live streaming
I'll
the
send you
event.
pictures.
Live stream the event. We want to see it.
Want to see? Okay.
What I want to see is a list of what's on the menu.
Okay.
There's that other soup.
Which one? Egusi or bono?
That one.
Oh, egusi.
And see if it's on the menu.
Okay.
Definitely. It's Delta State, so it must be.
It must be there.
Delta, yes. And banga soup.
That one, especially.
Banga is made from the fruit of the date. The palm fruit soup.
It's very good.
Banga.
Then what do they add?
What do you mean? What do they add?
It's what it adds to you.
What do they add into it? So the key ingredient is that.
Is the palm fruit.
Is the
yes.
palm fruit.
So now in
And then-
Nigeria, we name our soups after the ingredient, as opposed to here when you name your sauces after the protein.
Like what do you name
Beef
the protein?
stew, fish stew, chicken stew. We name it after the.
So the fish is the ingredient.
Yes, but even the fish stew, the fish is the ingredient.
But that's but now we're saying you name it after the protein, but now we name it after it's a goosey soup, so it is the palm. It's like the pumpkin seed.
Will there be some
Obono,
nyama
which
in
is
there?
African mango. Sorry?
Will there be some nyama in there?
In the soup, there's fish, there's beef, there's cow legs, everything.
So that's why now you can't call it beef soup because
Yes.
it's not beef, it's fish.
But you can make a
so
goosey
the
with
one
only
the
beef.
one thing.
You can make a goosey with only beef. You can make a goosey with only chicken. You can make it mixed, assorted. It's up to you.
But the one thing that's common is that thing.
Is the egusi?
Yeah, that's why.
Egusi, but egusi is not a protein, is it?
No, it's not.
See, they have a problem.
So let me tell you what we shall discuss today. We will look at cerebral palsy. What do people understand and know about cerebral palsy? How many people really have come across cerebral palsy? We'll be joined by Josephine Kamene, who's an advocate for equal healthcare rights, and Dr. Michael Mwangi, who's an occupational therapist at the Mamalusi Kibaki Hospital. At 7 a.m., our Health Friday conversation will be understanding cerebral palsy. And then thereafter, we will want to seek to understand what's happening to Kenyans who are outside of this country, particularly in the Middle Eastern countries. So there's turmoil in Lebanon. There is stuff that's been happening, of course, in that region. Are there Kenyans in Israel who'd like to leave? Are there Kenyans in Lebanon who'd like to leave? And how are they faring? The Kenyans who've gone to work and live in these countries, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign and Diaspora Affairs has been saying, reach out to the embassy and register yourself. Is it possible? Is it easy? We'll speak with some of them who are there. And if you know anybody who is stranded in Lebanon, please get in touch with us and let us know. We shall reach out to them or ask them to tune in and reach out to us. Or a relative of somebody who is there and who is really seeking help. Even if they don't want to leave, they just want to update their family. Let us speak to them this morning. It's 20 minutes after 6. Do like that with the weather.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. The weather with SpiceFM.
Cloudy conditions in Nairobi this morning, 14 degrees. We'll see highs of 24 and highs of 26. In a clear Nakuru at 13. 25 will be the high, and a partly cloudy Nyeri at 12. And it's clear at 10 in Eldoret, going to highs of 24. Into Mombasa, the sun will be up this Friday, highs of 30 and lows of 24. And partly sunny conditions will be seen in Malindi with highs of 30 and lows of 24. Kisumu is clear at 19, highs of 31, and we'll see highs of 29 in a mostly clear Kakamega at 17. We're looking into a clear Kampala at 19 with highs of 28, while Dar es Salaam is sunny at 24. We'll see highs of 30. 6 degrees and clear in Johannesburg with highs of 22, and we're looking into a partly sunny Mogadishu at 25 with highs of 31. It's raining this morning in Addis Ababa, highs of 21 and lows of 12, while it's partly cloudy at 26 in Lagos. We'll see highs of 29. It's a rainy morning in Kinshasa, highs of 32 and lows of 24. Beijing, Friday afternoon is sunny at 18, highs of 22 and lows of 9, and it's 7 degrees and partly cloudy in Paris with highs of 16, and mostly cloudy at 9 in London, going to highs of 17. New York, Thursday night is clear at 17, coming into Friday, highs of 21 and lows of 15.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Who's online?
Wyatt says good morning, so good morning to you. Desmond Otis says good morning, Spice team. I'm Mbogi. Mbogi. Titi. Mbogi. You know what Mbogi is? Bogi.
Is it a form of vegetable?
I knew. In fact, the way he looked at me, I said, this guy's going to say spinach. Bogi apparently is your crew, your posse, your peeps, your guys that you're together with.
That's my Bogi.
That's Nyinyi. Ni?
Bogi. Your posse.
Your posse. Where? Where?
All right, Friday it is.
That's the
yeah. Okay, Mbogi and Company. Carry on.
Anthony Karanja says good morning, tuning from Dallas. Good morning, says Leshan Sancha. Sky Simba says we're truly lacking statesmen and selfless leaders. Happy Friday to Kulandirani. Where?
Who said it?
Don Sabwa.
It had to be done.
Well, it had to be. CT. Ndu, ask CT. People are just sending me anyhow. CT is yes, you stop going through the corners and ask him directly. Ask him if the confidential wealth declaration form has any value. When is it in use and how? And then, by the way, he's asking how Eric and I are doing.
It actually has value.
It does.
All these things don't seem to have value until they're actualized. They just keep ignoring them. It's like you being told, Ebu, declare your wealth, or being told, when June gets to June, you need to talk to the tax person and you ignore.
So there's something there.
There's always something to it.
Okay.
It may not arrive at your doorstep now, but the day it does, you will wish you had done something different.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yes.
Simon Diatsi is asking, how did we go from legends like Tom Boyer, Wangari Maathai, and John Mishuki to clowns? I'm not going to name the names of the clowns that he's put after that. Just know that he's asking that question. Okay? The Kikombe says good morning. He's checked in from Nairobi to impeach the DP or to discuss national policy and development. Jijazieni. Okay. Faith Ngongori says good morning. Spices, have a fab day and let's see what today has to offer Kenyans. From Bonnie Lake in Washington, message to the political class: in the morning you're fresh and sweet, in the evening you wither away. Is it? Dangote Kilonzo. So difficult for me to say those two names together in the same manner, but okay. Good morning, Ndu, Eric, and Man CT. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. There you go. Gilbert Kimoge says good morning. Spice watching from Tampere in Finland. Ndio sisi wale wa Mandago scam. Tampere in Finland. Pap D, Ndu, Eric CT, invite Dr. Shemushwat. We've heard, we are working on it. Kiongozi Omosh says, good morning, fellas. Lucky Summer is here. Agola says it's Friday. Good morning. Well, Agola is dancing in a red dress. Good morning. Karibu Sana. Tano Teka says, good morning. Ms. Mbali says, good morning. Msiguze healthy our Kenya. Exactly. Robert Sibogo is tuning from Mombasa. Benson Kaindi is also tuned in. Ndu, good morning, I'm told. Good morning to you. Tips Muga is also tuned in. The Chagos Islands is going to Mauritius without the approval and input from the people of Chagos. Sounds familiar? Yes, it does. Good morning, my beautiful people, says Najma Chaudhry. Good morning to you. I shall miss you over the weekend. We shall miss you too. Great that CT's back. He's been back for a couple, but okay. Public participation it is today, says Peter Kavoy. Carol amesema anatupenda sana, tunakupenda pia. Masharia Jeru says good morning. Have a good Friday. Owen Nyoka is also tuned in this morning. Matthew Kyoko is here. Kento is also tuned in. Alex Mnai, Thomas Jogona, Cyrus Kalasinga, Rachel Wajiro. Good morning. Thank God it's Friday. Ndu, can you sing this song for motivation as the weekend? Which one? Thank God it's Friday. Abby, is there another one? Jumbo Situation Room getting you loud and clear from Fauna in Texas. KD, James Mukabana says good morning. Let me see if I can get through everybody real quick. Linus Gitonga, Stephen Ogata, Geraldino Chieng, Agri Mamanyi, Nyadi Chukunzira, nice name, good morning. My Take is also here. Biggs, we see you. Pronounced Posse. Yeah, it's pronounced Posse. Okay. Chris Mora says good morning. Julius Song is here. Wesley Kiplagat, Cliff Machoka, Elias Bogwa, Ashori Ishmael, Ian Zulu, and Bernardo Kello. Good morning, everybody. Karibuni sana.
Safsana City. Do like that.
We are looking at the final proverb from the Republic of the Gambia.
Yes.
A leopard that visits you is the one that kills you.
A leopard that visits you is the one that kills you. Yeah.
Very true.
Especially if you welcome it.
You welcome it, it comes smiling at you.
And you feed it.
Thinking it's a big cat.
Yeah.
A leopard is not a big cat.
And you start petting it.
It's a wild animal.
Yes.
Reminds me of a story of a lady who decided she was going to bring in one of these wild cats and treat it as a pet. One day the thing ate her.
Oh, yeah.
After years. Wild animal is a wild animal.
Oh, yeah.
Instincts don't get tamed.
Nope.
Way.
You bring in the wild, eventually the wild will take you over.
Hiya. Tuangalie headlines.
On the front page of the Standard this morning, a university chaos has caught Hans Ruto fresh blow. A High Court order suspending implementation of a new funding model for higher learning institutions, now in its second year, has put the education of 250,000 students and future of the cash-strapped public universities in limbo, potentially forcing the government back to the drawing board over its flaunted model. Justice Chacha Mwita is at the forefront of this, and he said, Conservatory orders are issued against the respondents, their servants, agents and employees from implementing the new education funding model until the hearing and determination of this petition. So in the meantime, hold up.
You see, it's a conservatory order. It's not like the final order.
No, it's just until.
Yeah. But now, you know, the way it's put, it has put the education of 250,000 students and future of cash-strapped public universities in limbo, potentially forcing the government back to the drawing board.
Sensationalist.
It's just...
Protests after NHIF members moved to new health scheme. So people were just moved. People were moved. So people are saying, why are you just moving me like that? So they're saying, nah, it cannot be. Don't like it. So we'll see. State turns a perfect storm into crisis. What are those? Let's see. It was interesting because a day ago, CS John Badi again was before Senate. And, you know, he made some pronouncements over things that he needs to happen. A perfect storm into a crisis. A perfect storm already is a bad thing. And then now we have a crisis. Which is worse? It's the question. An eye for an eye. Israel eyes top level targets and they're not letting down. In national news, DP's options as Parliament goes flat out for views. It is increasingly looking like Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's mind is made up. But as he mulls whether to fight on, take flight, seek reconciliation or submit to fate, Parliament today mounts an extensive public participation exercise like no other in all 47 counties.
Imagine.
Everybody's being asked
as
to
in
come
they
out.
could do this with all these laws that they're being told they didn't do.
But they choose not to. You see?
Although today is just a rubber stamping exercise.
Of course.
It's nonsense. But it's a better way than saying that you come to Parliament and submit.
And come and tell us, or come to everybody in the country, come to KICC.
Yeah, it's better.
On the front page of The Nation this morning, Gachagwa's fight back he is doing things, And embattled Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua yesterday personally moved to court in an 11th attempt, 11th, to block the impeachment motion against him. The DP, who described the process as choreographed political lynching, designed to defeat the sovereign will of the people, also poked holes into the 11 charges facing him. Okay. A sad story, and I want to particularly look at this when we come back. How a lost phone exposed child porn suspect at Kiambu Daycare Center. German investor seeks 142 million shillings from city politician 3 months after losing the Nairobi governor election. Ms. Agnes Kagure signed a petroleum deal with a German who now says she conned him of $1 million and he wants his money back. Euros. And wants his money back. Just don't play with my money. Shift suffering as MPs query 104 billion shillings of the UHC system costs.
Okay.
New climate change setback for Africa as adaptation costs are geared for steep rise. Voila.
In the Business Daily today, M-Copper reveals 5.2 billion shilling cost of tracing defaulters. Solar power kits provider M-Copper has revealed a 5.22 billion cost of tracing defaulters, reflecting the challenge of sustaining its pay-as-you-go service model that targets mostly the poor in rural areas. In a tax dispute, M-Copper disclosed the bill required to trace and force 47,625 customers it regards as hardcore for having refused to pay 308 million shillings for lighting kits supplied on credit. What? One kit includes a solar panel, multi-device charger, light, radio, and a pay-as-you-go SIM card, and in some cases, a TV. But imagine, even after doing that, you see they have this SIM card. So if you don't pay, the thing goes off. It basically just disconnects, so you cannot use any of your gadgets. And they also have now the SIM card, it's geolocation and all those things. But still, even with all that, there are people who take these kits and they disappear, such that M-Copper cannot trace them.
And they can keep using them.
Now the question is whether they are able to actually go and crack it and use it without activating the SIM card. But 47,000 customers have peppered with equipment worth 308 million shillings over time. Right? Now, take that story, juxtapose it with Hustler Fund.
47,000 people have taken loans and disappeared into thin air.
Imagine. Firms pause recruitment on depressed sales. Private firms are pausing hiring or firing of staff in September on falling demand for goods and services. Budget controller declines 5 billion shillings county cash plea. The controller of budget, Margaret Nyakango, rejected 5.16 billion shillings worth of requests from counties in the year that ended June over tax deduction and pending bill breaches. 5 billion shillings, she said, I am not authorizing this expenditure. I am not. And if you remember, yesterday, the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury was meeting with the governors, and he was there saying, I blame the controller of budget. I wish she was here. I'd have given her peace of my mind. How is it that you refuse? Money is there. You're refusing to allow counties to use the money. It's just lying there. People have to come from Homa Bay all the way to Nairobi to come and justify why they need to spend the money. Why?
So the controller of budget invented all this just to frustrate these people, isn't it?
That's what he's asking. Do you want them to come with brown envelopes? Is this a shakedown?
Or is she following procedure?
But I say, there's two sides to it, actually. I'm for the control of budget being very strict on procedure. But the requirement that an officer must come to her Nairobi office to push and chase for Nyeri to file documentation to Nyeri, that is uncalled for.
I would ask the question, why then are they asked to actually come? Is there a process where they can send information electronically? And does everybody come? Or do some people send and that's the end of that story?
That's the thing.
Exactly.
And if people are called, why are they called?
Why are they called?
That happens.
And why? But why should they even have to be called?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 10 years after devolution.
Yes. There are many questions that arise from this particular issue here. But what is certain is that if you listen to the stories about matters relating to the office or the control of budget, queries are also raised.
Yep.
The control of budget is not there to accede and to assent to everything that is required. That's not her job.
Yes.
Yes. So are we saying she's overstepped her mandate? Yes.
Or what she's doing, is she constitutionally bound to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And is it making some people uncomfortable because they prefer something else?
Or has that office actually invested in making the processes faster, smoother, clearer for everybody?
Yes.
Because she has a mandate to do that. She has a mandate to make sure that if you are requesting a certain expenditure, this is what you do, make it easier. If it's forms, if it's documents, file them online, they are clear. If there's a query, the query is very clear immediately. You have not filled out, there's a section that you must mandatorily fill and you have not filled it, so you can't submit it. Make the process smooth for everybody.
Yeah.
Then you can now say, you know what, this is a very clear system and a very clear process. If you move to this stage and you have not fulfilled this, then you cannot go to the next step of filing. Anyway, let me tell you about the business day, the Nairobian, okay? The Nairobian, truthful man and big money. Gachagwa's billions that are a source of his troubles. They have that story on page 5 of the Nairobian. Player, love, lust, and the allure of married men. On page 22, Carpet, Babu Owino unpacks hot issues on political future. They have an interview with Babu Owino there. Abortion for glow. Now, this is an interesting story. I'm going to read it for you. Sacrificing the unborn for extra kilos. Apparently, it's talking about Gen Zs who are going for abortion. Yeah, abortion for glow, a dangerous trend among Gen Zs. Big breasts, wider hips, a softer, radiant skin are some of the changes that come with pregnancy. Something that the youngest adults are capitalizing on to get ideal body, then abort after the quick fix. So you get pregnant, you get the body changes, and then you remove the baby. You're left with the body that you wanted.
But when the hormones disappear, then so does the body then.
So sasa hiyo tutaona kwa story. Afande, sex pests thrive in police service. Sexpose, that's what they call it in Nairobian. Women officers report being subjected to unwanted sexual advances, coercion, and even rape by their supervisors or colleagues. There's a stark underrepresentation of female officers in leadership roles within the services. Maraga report exposes abuse of women in NYS, the prisons, and the police. City? Tell us about this star.
Yes. Top right-hand corner in burnt brown. Sorry, orange.
Thank you.
Okay. Rise of Gen Z and their lasting impact on Africa and the world. And the Siasa columns, DP stop bid puts MPs at crossroads with parties. Assuming that party has said to go left, MPs are saying, sorry, we are standing right in the middle. We are neither going left, nor are we going right. One-term MPs bid for fat pension benefit crumbles, okay? This National Assembly Committee has rejected a proposed law that would have seen MPs award themselves fat retirement perks, including those below 45 years, through a bill the lawmakers sought to get benefits even for serving one term or less than a year. This has been tried before. It's not new. Yes. So anyway, it means they have not given up.
Bado.
No. And they will continue. And an opportunity has now arisen for them to push for that again. Road accidents, great sorrow, dreams cut off. Aish. When accident data is released by NTSA, to many it's just another statistic on road carnage.
Just numbers.
For others, however, it's a life-changing, with unfulfilled dreams and ambitions, life becoming meaningless, empty chairs in the dining table, and the struggle of life while in grief. Man 52 gets 20 years for killing wife over lover. A 50-year-old man who killed his second wife for questioning his decision to bring a mistress to his house has been sentenced to 20 years in jail. Wycliffe Lukongo was on Tuesday sentenced for murdering Susan Mirillo on 24th January 2019. 5 years down the line.
So he wanted to take in a second wife into the same home, and she was objecting to it.
She said no.
He literally said, "Toka hapa."
He literally sent her to the nether, to the afterlife. Yes. Bang in the middle of the paper. Fight back. New case brings 10 petitions filed over impeachment. Same saga, just different facets. Quote, the courts are going to be busy. Big test for MPs as Rigathi sues over public views.
Susu.
DP seems to have vowed to go down fighting instead of walking away. He's gone to court and said this public participation thing.
Okay.
This. But also bang in the middle of the paper, there's a lovely picture here of an elephant upside down. Big shift.
Elephant upside down?
Yes, elephant upside down.
Wow.
Yes. Big shift as KWS moves elephants to new home. The movement is from where to the Aberdare National Park. Okay, there were quite a number of elephants moved, around 20 of them moved.
So they carried them?
Yes, you tranquilize them.
They lift them with a makeshift pulley or something.
Yes, then you put them in there, then you transfer them, then you load them into the Aberdare, then you let them go. They wake up and they wonder where they.
New home? What's this? New home?
Yes.
Yeah, and then they find food.
Then they find food, and that food may not be.
It's not so bad.
Sometimes that's why that fence was built, because that food sometimes is someone else's food also. But they've grown it, then the elephants also want to claim it. And elephants eat a lot, just so that you understand.
Wacha nikuambie yaliyo kwenye taifa leo. Sawa bana?
Sawa.
Pigo kwa rais, mfumo wa ufadhili vyuoni ukisitishwa. Wanyonge walima Real Atletico FC. Real walichapwa na wanyonge. Bang in the middle of the paper hii kabla nifike hapo. Sababu UDA kujitenga na mswada. So UDA has basically distanced itself from Cherargei's motion bill. UDA imesema sisi hatujui maneno. Kwale yavuna Mashujaa Day ikibisha hodi. So Mashujaa Day itakuwa Kwale mwaka huu.
County Secretary amesema tuende huko.
Amesema tuende?
Tufanye show kutoka nini?
Very good. Afanye ufadhili tutaingia. Ndege tutaabiri. Kesi mambo bado kwa Donald Trump. Wanaendelea mashtaka. Wamewasilisha ushahidi mpya dhidi ya mwaniaji huyu wa urais wa Republican. Haya, bang katikati ya gazeti.
Bang iko katikati ya gazeti. Bangi iko, sorry.
Agonga ukuta mara 11. Naibu Rais Rigathi Gachagua amefika kotini katika jaribio la 11 la kutaka kusitisha mchakato wa kumuondoa mamlakani, akidai kuwa madai dhidi yake ni ya uongo mtupu. Unajua mara 11 ngapi?
Mara 11 is 11.
Bas, sasa amefanya nini Gachagua pale? Ameenda kotini mara 11. Anagonga ukuta tu. Pa! You know, like that drum. 11 times. Abebengi. Haya. 17 minutes to 7. Tell us about traffic.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Okay, so what are we doing at a few minutes to 7 o'clock? Traffic coming off the southern bypass was doing a thing earlier, but I think we'll be fine now from all that we see. Also, trying to get into the city from the Thika Superhighway, a little bit of traffic is starting to build, but also just this around Survey as you're going towards the Pangani underpass. And I think this one will be able to survive it. On Langata Road, we see a little bit of movement as well. It's coming in through towards the Nyeri Stadium roundabout. And on Jogo Road, a little bit of traffic. Landage Road is fine. Mombasa Road, all the way from, this Imara out towards the Nyeri Stadium junction, and then further on is fine. So just on the Thika Superhighway, a little bit on the Eastern Bypass. We'll see what happens as we get into Friday proper. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag the Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
The disturbing page, the disturbing story of what happened in a daycare center in Kiambu is carried on page 7 of The Nation today. Is it, or did I read my own things? Well, apparently I did, because it's not here.
Wamesemaje?
Wamesema iko page 7, lakini mimi niko kwa page 7 na haiko.
Ya gazeti gani?
Kwa Nation.
Maybe you're on the wrong paper, unajua. Make sure you're aligned.
How do you count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
It's actually on page 8, but okay, we'll forgive them for that.
See, that's the 7th.
That's their 7. How lost phone laid bare child porn at Kiambu daycare center. When Teresia Wambui was arraigned before a court on Wednesday, she faced grave accusations that are the ultimate betrayal, breaching the trust of parents who entrusted their children under her care only for her minors to be robbed of their innocence, From a guardian of those enrolled in her Apple daycare that operates from Wangige Market, Kiambu County, Ms. Wambui was brought to the dock at Kikuyu Law Court to answer to charges of child pornography. The criminal activities that police say had been going on inside the daycare center she has operated for 3 years, and which police say she has had at least 10 children at any given time, had been a well-kept dark secret until the 30th of September. Behind the facade of a guardian, police now believe Ms. Wambui ran her facility as a front for illicit sex trade, exposing innocent children to indecent acts and later selling their footage to the global underworld of pornography. I shudder. A few weeks ago, Ms. Wambui is said to have lost her phone on her way to work. A local picked it and decided to peruse through its features, as you know, people who pick up phones would do.
They were looking for the name, but
okay, not in the gallery. In the gallery.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, at least if you can't get the name, you may find a photo of someone.
The gallery.
Yes.
And you'll find this. This is, many of these pictures are cities. Those must be cities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go on.
Identification.
Now, the phone had no password, so obviously this was easy to do.
Okay.
And they found indecent photos.
She had nothing to hide.
Of course, she had nothing to hide, except the indecent photos and videos of minors being introduced to child pornography. Livid residents marched into Apple Daycare and questioned her about the explicit images. Ms. Wambui is said to have grabbed the phone in a bid to delete the images, but she was restrained and handed over to police. She was arrested last week. While pleading with the court to detain the accused for 21 days, as they conclude investigations, Officer Nicodemus Musembi told the Kikuyu Law Court Magistrate Lillian Kwamboka that Ms. Wambui's mobile phone is yet to be subjected to forensics to ascertain who the beneficiaries of her act are. So obviously this is the thing, that if allegedly she's taking these pictures and these videos, that she is selling them to somebody else for their own disjointed pleasure.
That's the assumption.
That's the assumption.
Okay.
Now, according to Mr. Musembi, when he told the court, the respondent's mobile phone was confiscated from her as she was trying to crush it in an attempt to destroy the evidence. It has in it video recordings that are yet to be retrieved and processed for them to be used as evidence. That the respondent is alleged to have been engaging the minors who are aged between 2 and 4 in sexual activities. There's a special place in hell, I tell you. At the same time, the investigating officer told the court that they intend to go through her bank account held at Equity Bank to trace any inflows related to the incident.
How would they know they're related?
This is the thing. How would you know that it is as a result of this that this money has made its way into the account? So I don't know. So they also went on to say, Your Honor, the respondent has a pay bill account number in Equity, which is also subject to investigation to establish the motivation behind the recordings. The respondent was rescued from the members of the public because, essentially they were going to lynch her. They were not even going to ask a question. And she's at risk of being lynched if released. We desire to escort her to mental assessment and prosecute the services of an intermediary, procure the services of an intermediary in order to obtain evidence from the vulnerable and the guardians. Your Honor, the rented house the respondent has been coded as a crime scene and it is yet to be processed. They've been granted 14 days to detain her. They said they also took into account the nature of the alleged offence and the circumstances therein. I do find the application merited. The same is hereby allowed. This is according to Ms. Kwamboka in her ruling for 14 days. And should there be a need for an extension, then the applicant shall be at liberty to move the court appropriately. We can have the matter mentioned on the 17th of October, when Ms. Wambui will then return to court.
I have several questions in this particular story, because of course the first thing that you do when you see the photos of children on somebody's phone, you're like, there are questions to be answered there, right?
Of a particular nature. It's not the cute cuddly pictures.
Yes, there are questions to be answered there.
Yeah.
Now, the immediate assumption that then she's engaging in child pornography, that is a rich one that you have to really prove, right? Because then you have to show how she's engaged in child pornography. If you've sold them, if you've posted them, if you've shared them, you have to actually come there and say she shared this particular footage, image, with this particular person. If you're saying that she benefited financially from it, you've got to really do those connections.
You have to make a connection between the photo and
clear
the video,
ones,
and that it went to somebody else, and that there was an exchange on this particular item to prove that. However, what would have been to the chagrin of many here is the nature of the pictures and the videos. That they were not. The assumption is that they were pictures of naked children, and that the videos were
also the detail of the photos of the naked children.
Yeah, but then what we saw in the report yesterday that there were reports of some of the videos of her handling these children as they were naked. So this is the thing. Okay.
These are 2-year-olds who've been brought to a daycare.
Yes.
You are going to change them. They are going to be naked. So handling children who are 2-year-old in a daycare when they're naked, that's one thing. Right? So what I'm saying is they have got very many
layers for sure. There are very many types.
And it's very easy to jump into the very final assumption here. But there are very many questions that you have to answer when you are prosecuting this case in court. It can't just be because we have seen this and we have made the assumption then that case is cut and dried, and it's not.
Sure, and I think these are the questions that Lilian Kwamboka is seeking to be answered, and that's why they're saying, okay, well, let's hold. Unless we're going to the place where we say, if an assumption has been made and that is why the accused is then being asked to, or rather they're asking that she be held while this investigation is being done, it would be assumed that those are the questions that answers are being sought for.
In the absence of the pictures, there would be no story here.
No, there wouldn't. There wouldn't. There must be something that is leading someone or those who've made the allegation and are putting forth the charge to say this is not just your normal taking pictures of somebody in your daycare. There must be something.
We have a problem of jumping to conclusions.
That's what I'm insisting on that.
Yeah,
because yes, that's the fact that there are photos on this woman's phone of these children. It's one. It's a question. What answer has she given for that question?
We don't know
of
if
course,
she has.
when the public is coming, there is no opportunity to give answers.
That's the
or whatever answer she's given, maybe because of the quick jump to the conclusion, whatever answer you're giving,
no one wants to hear.
Which is why Nicodemus was saying it's better that we keep her here because of that same reaction that you're talking about. Because you see that, and this is what the people in the public saw the thing on her phone and said, no, this one is doing 1, 2, 3. We're going to lynch her. You see, because of that assumption.
To understand this, you only need to look at stories we've read and heard of in the past, in Kisii specifically, where old women and men have been burnt or killed because people said they were witches or warlocks.
Okay. What made people assume?
What is it that they did?
There must be something, if there is.
There's nothing.
If there is.
Well, there is something, but does that thing,
something also has to be questioned.
Yes.
That is it.
Does
That's
that thing necessarily mean that you're a witch? Even in Kilifi, when they're killing these old men and women, is it necessarily because of what you've done and connecting it directly to witchcraft? Or is it just that assumption, jump into conclusion and take action?
Let me tell you, the history of such incidences, where people have been killed, people have lost livelihood simply because at that particular point in time, being labeled to be a certain something.
And emotions ran high.
Yep.
Conclusions were drawn immediately. People did not bother to ask. People did not bother to say, but we know so-and-so. It can't possibly be this. But by that time you asked that question, people had died, they'd lost livelihoods. A lot had happened.
Yeah.
I agree with Eric. On such matters, especially emotive ones where children are concerned, you must pause and ask as many questions as possible before you jump to the conclusion.
Let me tell you this story of abortion for glow. Nellie, a 24-year-old university student, found herself unexpectedly pregnant 6 months ago. Initially uncertain about keeping the baby, she noticed physical changes that caught her attention. I started realizing I was gaining weight, Nellie recalls. My breasts were growing and I even started producing milk. These bodily changes, typically celebrated as aspects of pregnancy, became the focal point for Nellie. She delayed her decision to terminate the pregnancy, allowing her body to continue developing. It wasn't until she entered her 4th month that she decided to have an abortion. I liked being pregnant for that period because it made me gain weight. She reveled in the attention a new figure garnered, attributing her transformation to eating well when asked. The story is not unique. Social media platforms like X and TikTok are rife with young women sharing similar experiences. Some usually openly admit to becoming pregnant with the intention of abortion to obtain and maintain their pregnancy glow or achieve desired body changes. Linda, a petite college student, recalls the first time she encountered this trend. While I was on campus, my dorm mates advised me to get pregnant and later abort as a means of gaining weight. They made it sound so easy, but something inside me felt wrong. She didn't go through with it, but she admits feeling guilty for even considering it. If you scroll through X, formerly known as Twitter, you'll stumble upon a disturbing tweet. It reads, "Girls are becoming pregnant and aborting to just gain weight." This remark was from a Nigerian user, and as I continued scrolling, this is the writer, I was both appalled and intrigued by the ongoing conversation. So Marianne Muganda, who wrote this story on the Nairobian, says, some users admitted to having done it, while others condemned the practice, suggesting alternatives such as taking pills and eating more. Later, the author switched to TikTok, where the same conversation continued, young women flaunting their pregnancies with captions like, "Can't wait for my pregnancy to reach 5 months so that I can abort and maintain my pregnancy glow." Yeah, it's a full-page story. The Nairobian.
I don't even know what to say.
Bizarre things happen.
They talked to Dr. Dennis Miskela, a Nairobi-based gynecologist, who expresses deep concern over this trend. The idea of getting pregnant for certain body changes is a tragic development, he says. In this era of misinformation, young people are exposed to health trends that don't make sense and can be extremely dangerous. He explains that during pregnancy, hormonal changes, particularly increases in estrogen and progesterone, contribute to breast enlargement, hip widening, and overall weight gain. The skin often becomes softer and more radiant, the source of the coveted pregnancy glow. However, he emphasizes, these changes are temporary. The moment you terminate the pregnancy, the body resets to its initial states. Sometimes it can even end up worse than before. The practice of using pregnancy and abortion as a means of body modification carries severe health risks, according to the doctor. Excessive bleeding, potentially leading to death or kidney failure, infections causing septicemia, blood clots and stroke, mental health issues, including depression and anxiety, and increased risk of infertility. But the kids don't know all this.
I can't wrap my head around that.
Imagine.
I can't. I don't.
It is so bizarre. You're like, huh?
It's beyond bizarre. I can't. I'll never understand it.
What's that?
I'll never understand it. No matter how you try to explain it to me.
Yeah. What's that? It's crazy. It's crazy. Totally. In a minute, let me tell you. A young man in Embakasi has pleaded guilty to stealing 2 television sets, bottles of assorted beer, and cash from a police canteen. According to the charge sheet, Ogalo Hado Edengo broke into the Embakasi police station canteen and stole the items and 56,700 shillings belonging to Laban Mogere Nyarangi. Nyarangi, who operates the business, had left one of his employees at the canteen preparing a meal for the next day. Edengo had requested Nyarangi's employee to accommodate him for the night. Unfortunately, she allegedly woke up in the middle of the night and broke into the canteen and therein stole the items. Aliiba TV mbili, chupa za beer, pesa from a police. Well, it's a canteen in the police station.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like
So message is even the police station is not safe.
That's what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Someone will just come, break in, get out, and walk out with them.
TV.
You
know, it's not a phone. Eh?
Wait.
TV. Ama?
2 TVs. Bottles of assorted beer.
Can I ask you? Is Odongo a cop?
Cash. No.
Oh, he's just a random guy.
He's a guy who just came and said, "Swatch and lale hapo koko leo." And he's taken to court and he's told, "Utajibu mashtaka kivipi?" Akasema, "Yaona, nimekubali. I'm guilty."
That one they should first of all go and check if mentally
Akosawa, because
Spice up your life.
It's now 8 o'clock with Safaricom. Go monthly with an all-in-one bundle and enjoy convenience and value with Safaricom. For just 2,000 bob a month, enjoy 17 GB data, 1,000 minutes, 2,000 SMSs, and free WhatsApp. Go monthly. Dial star 544 hash and select Go monthly. Safaricom is for you.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. You have an opportunity to give your opinion on the impeachment motion against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. The National Assembly announced that the activity will be carried out in all the 47 counties where you have a chance to share your views on Gachagua's pending ouster. Here is National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula on the same.
I wish to guide further in the matter. As members are aware, the advertisements published today inviting submission of views or notifying the public of hearings on the special motion list all 290 constituencies and indicate that the exercise is to be coordinated from 47 count venues or collection centers across the country. Arising from the members' briefing held earlier today, I wish to clarify that the public participation program additionally contemplates the collection of views at the constituency level. In this regard, I confirm that the officers of the clerk shall be present to assist the collection and compilation of views from onward transmission to the office of the clerk through the respective collection compilation centers specified in the public advertisements. The House is accordingly guided. Thank you.
Now, Mombasa residents will be at the Tononoka Social Hall. Kwale residents will be at the Kwale Cultural Center. Kilifi residents will give their views at the Coastal Development Authority Social Hall. In Nyeri County, residents have been asked to present the views at the Nyeri Cultural Hall, while in Murang'a, the activity is being held at the University of Murang'a. Here in Nairobi, Kenyans have been asked to give their views at the KICC. But if you are unable to present your views physically, you can do so via email through impeachment@parliament.go.ke before Saturday, October 5th. Now, you still have the opportunity to express your views on the 11 impeachment grounds against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Gachagua had filed an urgent application seeking orders to stop the exercise across the 290 constituencies, but the High Court declined to stop the exercise. Now, Justice Bahati Momuye directed applicants to serve respondents ahead of the motion Wednesday next week. Gachagua is accused to, among other things, making inflammatory and insightful utterances, undermining national unity, and contradicting the president on critical matters. Now, a section of members of parliament from the Mount Kenya region who initially supported the motion to impeach Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua from office have now changed their tune. The legislators have stated that they will not continue with efforts to oust the deputy president. These legislators, hailing from Gachagua's stronghold in Nyeri County, instead expressed that what is needed now is a discussion aimed at reconciling the president and his deputy.
Our people, when we ask them, they do not see this as a priority. They think there are other priorities that we should be focusing on. And as representatives of the people, I think it behoves upon us to listen to our people and do what they have asked us. So on Tuesday, I will be voting no.
After researching na after kusoma hiyo kitu yote, nikaona our deputy president, hii ni kitu wanaweza kaa chini na president wetu wajadiliane, kwa sababu Kenya ni kubwa kuliko sisi wote. Na kwa hivyo ndio sababu nimekuja na tumewasikiza, na watu wa Nyeri wamesema deputy president hawataki atolewe.
And on the public participation today, Standard Media Group is giving you special coverage. KTN will be bringing special coverage from the Bomas of Kenya. Be sure to be part of that exercise, together with updates across the day in a subsequent news bulletin across all platforms. Now, two petitioners have sued the now defunct NHIF and the Ministry of Health for transferring NHIF members' data to SHA without their consent. Now, Felicitas Bosibori and Dawina Mboka argue that Kenyans should not be forced into the new health scheme. Earlier, the ministry defended its decision to transition existing NHIF members to SHA, saying it was lawful. It further urged members to verify and update their profiles. Meanwhile, the government has continued to urge Kenyans to register for SHA. Here's Bungoma West Deputy Commissioner Abdi Mahmoud.
Mnajua kwamba serikali ina shift kutoka NHIF to shift. Wakazi wetu wa Sirisia Bungoma West, ningependa watu wajisajili. Ukiregister itakuja kukusaidia kesho usoni. Wakenya wote sasa NHIF itasimama kazi, itakuwa ni kazi ya shift. So tunaomba wananchi wetu wajisajili na mambo ya shift ili wapate huduma ya afya kwa urahisi na iwapatie benefits nyingi sana kuliko NHIF.
And the High Court suspended the new funding model for higher education that requires help to apportion loans to students based on their family's monthly income. Now, Justice John Chamwita issued the orders following a petition filed by the Kenya Human Rights Commission and Elimu Bora Working Group. The case will be heard on the 16th of December. This is Newswire. Dennis Asada, good morning.
If we just gloss over issues and hope that time heals, then we might find that in generations to come, we might be back at the same situation. And the whole thing is born of stolen elections.
Spice. When it comes to the decisions you make, you must be independent. There's no way you can allow one institution to dictate to you how you're going to conduct your operations, how you're going to decide cases. It's a no.
When you weaken the institution to the point where they cannot take action, then you realize that politicians have to come up and now start dealing with the issues.
That conversation has to die. Our politicians do not like the hard stuff. We must insist on the path of doing things right, whether popular or unpopular.
Money changes hands. That is a fact. If you have political goodwill at the highest top, like in Rwanda, then corruption will be an issue of the past. If you don't have political goodwill at the top, we will pass laws, we will amend laws, we will continue passing laws and re-amending laws, and nothing will happen.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. SpiceFM, Nakuru.
All right, let's see what's happening now as we're getting into Friday morning. A little bit of traffic built up on Langata Road as you get towards Uhuru Highway via the Nyeri Stadium roundabout. And also coming off of the Thika Superhighway is where we'll see the most of traffic this morning. Coming in from Garden City out towards Pangani at the underpass, there's a little bit of movement. Then it'll take you to a bumper-to-bumper situation right around Pangani. On Wairimu Way, heading out towards the city, it's also pretty busy here. It's busy on Gong Road. It's also busy coming in from Kikuyu Road through towards Naivasha Road, and that leads you onto Ngong Road. So that's what we're going to have to watch for now. Eastern Bypass, not so much, not yet. Keeping an eye on all of this morning. Help us out on SpiceFM, KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Yes, good morning. Welcome to Friday. It's the first Friday of October 2024. Asante sana for tuning in. Kenya's biggest conversation, 9 minutes after 7. Well, you know, as we talk about 9 minutes after 7, we talk about access to lifestyle and affordability and just making things easy and simple for you, we're bringing back the conversation about Safaricom Home Fiber. Yeah? Because it's all about convenience. It's all about what Safaricom Home Fiber has done over the years, over the last 10 years, to transform the lives of so many people in this country. Think about the businesses that are now operating purely online. So someone is actually running an e-commerce and they have a platform, they run a properly designed website, front end, back end. It's able to take orders, it's able to process orders. You're able then to call in someone to deliver using Ndudhi, wherever, or you can deliver them across the country. All those things because there's someone just working from home. Comfort of their home.
Yep.
Yeah. And the comfort of their home is because they have what? Access to home fiber. Courtesy of Safaricom. Safaricom home fiber. Yeah? Talk about easy. Life being easier.
Made much easier just because, and really literally at the click of the button. So *400#, that's what you dial, and then you pick the package that works for you. And Safaricom is dedicated to making sure that you can actually have better speeds, higher speeds, adding to the speeds in this season, and making sure that your work is uninterrupted and talking to you all through the way.
Yes. And if you're running a small business at home, and then you're also looking at how to get things easier for you as well, think about also your financial services and transactions also made easier. Okay, so you have access to fast speed internet, and then you also have access to Loop, the lifestyle. What's Loop?
Loop is actually a lifestyle. It's an app that essentially connects everything that you do into one space at one time. Pay your bills, set up standing orders, take an overdraft, apply for a loan, advertise with your business, talk to anybody that you need to within that atmosphere to make sure that you don't have to move from point to point, but that you can loop all your activity in one place at one time. Download the app and experience the lifestyle that makes it much easier for you to connect all your activities in your life in one place at one time. Download it today, and you know what? We could give you 2,500 shillings on your account to allow you to continue transacting.
Kabisa. It's Friday, as you know. Every Friday we strive to have a Health Friday conversation. So our Health Friday conversation today is going to be about cerebral palsy. How much do you know about cerebral palsy? For the next 1 hour, if you didn't know, you're going to know a lot. If you knew, you thought you knew, then you're going to know a lot more. We are joined by Dr. Michael Mwangi. He is an occupational therapist at the Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital, and Josephine Kamene, who's an advocate for eco healthcare rights. Josephine, Daktari, good morning.
Morning.
Thank you very much for joining us today. Welcome to the hot seats of the Situation Room. Josephine, how does it feel? Comfortable?
Yes.
Very good. Doctor, you're also comfortable?
I'm comfortable.
Very good.
Thank you.
Now, how we start the show always at the beginning of every hour is we have guests, we welcome the guests, we give them a very nice warm seat, and then we give you an African proverb. So this man here, City Muga, goes to an African country, and then he comes up with proverbs from that country. So, for example, this week he's been in which country, City?
Gambia. The Gambia.
The Gambia.
Yes.
So your job, Dr. and Josephine, listen to the proverb and then think, what does the proverb say to you? What's your interpretation of the proverb? All right? You're never wrong. City?
Yes. A leopard that visits you is the one that kills you.
A leopard that visits you is the one that kills you. Dr. What's your interpretation here?
Well, I would think that when you talk about a leopard that visits you, it's the one that kills you. I would think that it's the situation that you find yourself in probably is what makes you what you'll be next.
I
think.
Okay, an interesting interpretation. Josephine, what do you think?
Okay, to me, I think that most of the pain or most of the hard times that we go through does not come from the people that we do not know. It really comes from close people, and most of the time, those who we trusted.
Kikulacho kingoni mwako.
Yeah.
Nice one. Very good one. So, Dr. please introduce us to cerebral palsy. What is cerebral palsy?
Thank you. Let me repeat my name. My name is Michael Mwangi. I'm an occupational therapist based at Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital. I would like to say cerebral palsy is a condition that actually affects the brain at the early beginning. It is either before, during, and immediately some few years after birth. So it is actually divided into 3 sections. It appears
it's either before,
that is, we call
before
it
birth.
I'm talking about before, meaning prenatal. That is before, and the child is in the womb. Perinatal during delivery, and postnatal after some few years after birth. It's caused by several things. Before the child is born, that is prenatal. We're talking about use of substance and drugs. It can affect that, nutritional values. And during birth, That's the most dangerous part, because if you have prolonged labor, it affects the brain in terms of oxygen transfer. We call it birth asphyxia. So it affects the brain cells. That's where it comes from. Then after birth, you can have injuries. You can have infections like meningitis. You can have neonatal jaundice. All those causes can cause cerebral palsy. And then 70% of all the cerebral palsy causes, it is based on the perinatal time when you are delivering the child. It's about 70% of it. Yeah.
This period after birth, when you could get, what's the window?
Pardon? Up to around 2 years.
Up to 2 years?
Up to 2 years, yes.
And what would be causing that?
I have talked about infections, things like meningitis, things like jaundice, neonatal jaundice. Malaria can cause that because it will affect the brain cells. Yeah.
Do you have many who are in that category? Because 70% are
it's about
at birth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then the rest?
The rest, you can divide it among those other issues.
Equally, almost?
Almost equally.
Okay.
But then in the course of having cerebral palsy, you also have a percentage you cannot pinpoint exactly what happened. Yes, because you go for history, you do all the tests, probably you can't pinpoint exactly what caused it.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens to somebody now after they get cerebral palsy? Is it lifetime? Is it what's their life like then?
Depending with the severity, we start there. If the condition is so severe, then you'll see, because you see we cannot see the brain now. We are seeing the manifestations.
Yeah.
What has happened with the brain, because it's inside our skull, you cannot see the brain cells. What we see is a manifestation. Movements, muscle tone, all those functions are affected. It can affect either part of the body or the whole part of the whole body. So we are seeing situations whereby a person who has cerebral palsy will not be able to achieve some of those normal things that we think that we think they are normal, because we take things for granted, and we assume that when we go, a mother goes for delivery, you assume that things are normal until you get a person with that brain damage. So it can be a lifelong thing. Sometimes those who are very mild, they will disappear after going through rehabilitation and therapy. So disappear. But those severe cases, it's a lifelong.
Okay.
Yeah.
How far into a diagnosis or realization of cerebral palsy then do you know how severe it is? And can it get more severe as you go along?
Well, if after delivery, you see they have what we call APGAR scores. The scoring.
Sorry,
the scoring, APGAR score.
Okay.
It's a score which is taken the first 10 minutes after delivery. You see, it is scored out of 10. A child who scores below 4, that's a very severe case. And then it also depends with, we talk about that birth asphyxia, that lack of oxygen in the brain, we call it birth asphyxia. If it was severe birth asphyxia, where a child cannot cry, you see, when we come to the clinic, unauliza mama, mtoto alilia, kati alizaliwa. That's the first question we ask. Mtoto alilia. Why? Because if the child did not cry, that baby did not get enough oxygen. So how long did it take? That one caused more severe cause of cerebral palsy. So that time, that's when we determine this one is a bit, you see, you look at the APGAR score, you look at the prolonged time. How long did it took for that child to cry? Was it actually that child was prompted to cry so that he can get that oxygen? So that's what determines the severity.
Talking about cerebral palsy, everything you've said and given the diversity of how it manifests, would I be wrong in saying that you can then typify them and say the different types of cerebral palsy?
Exactly, yeah, the different types. And also depends on the where the actual damage occurred in the brain. Because we have about four types of cerebral palsy. You have those which manifest in terms of low muscle tone, flaccidity. There are others which are so spastic. Others just affect the movement. When you talk about movement, it depends on, like, you'll see somebody going like somebody who's drunkard, staggering. It's ataxia. So we talk about 4 types of cerebral palsy. Yeah. Some of them very mild, others very severe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josephine,
Yes.
you have cerebral palsy.
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm that really.
So this has been, you've had cerebral palsy since birth?
Yes.
Okay. So what is your understanding of this condition that you have? At what point did you get to understand that I have cerebral palsy?
For me, because I was born with it, so I've lived my entire life knowing that I have the condition. And what I know about the condition is that this is just a condition, it's not a disease, and it does not cure. So the best thing to do is to come into terms with the reality, accept who you are, and you can conquer anything in this world. Yes.
So for all those 33 years as you were growing up, you have, of course, had to deal with very many things and challenges and, looking at other children and seeing the other children, how you are and how they are. What role did your parents play in explaining to you why you're different?
Oh, the funny thing is that even when I was growing, I didn't know that I had any issue until when the time came for me to join school. So I, being the firstborn in a family of 4, my mom was not even aware what disability is, and into that matter, she didn't even know what cerebral palsy is. So she just took me to a normal school in quotes. So I just went to a regular school, let me say that, and that is when I came to know I am different, because in those brilliant schools, there comes a time when you are in the PE, maybe the teacher comes, tells you, you draw on the ground, maybe you draw a baby or anything else on the ground. So I could see others doing it with their fingers, but when I tried to do the same, I could not do it. And that is when I came to know then I am different. And from that, it was now, I didn't feel bad or maybe hide myself. I continued to engage with other students and leave my things as just any other kid. So it's then when my mom came across her friends who advised her to take me to a special school. And she did that. Yeah.
So when you went to the special school, did you experience others who had the condition, and how then were you able to adapt in school now?
So yeah, when I went to school, when you have not seen any other person like you think that maybe you are the only one in the world. But when I went there, I was so, is it shocked or surprised? I saw people severe than I was. And so I just remember then my mom telling me, hey, where are you? That is not after seeing the rest. So I came to know many people with different abilities, and also those who are severe than I was. Yeah.
Is it that your mom did not know when you were young, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, before you started going to school? Is it that your mom did not know? I'm sure you've had conversations with her since then. Is it that she did not know at all that you have cerebral palsy?
She knew that I had an issue, but she didn't know that this is cerebral palsy. Yeah, because when the time came for me to Kutamba, I did not. I was using my back to clothe instead of using my hands. So she knew I had an issue, but she didn't know this is cerebral palsy. Yeah.
Dr. Mwangi, is this common? A parent would actually get a baby, go home, take the child, of course, for immunization clinics, visits, and still doesn't have information.
One thing, this is a big problem we had previously. The awareness was not there. So when you take your baby for your immunization, then you get probably a nurse who has not gone through that booklet. In that booklet, if you go through the booklet, the MCH booklet, you'll see a page where we have indicated, which is dedicated on how to identify early identification of disabilities. Look at those things. Look at the physical, so that you can be able to refer. Those REDs, that problem was there. But I think apparently, as per now, not so many people go through the MCH for about a month or 2 months and fail to understand that my child, despite the fact that I don't know whether it is CP or anything, is something which is wrong, and then refer.
But let me ask you this question.
Yes, please.
There is this manual that is available to health practitioners in maternity hospitals.
Yes.
And am I to understand that everyone who is in that hospital and who provides healthcare is supposed to understand the contents of that book?
I would say you have used the word supposed.
Yes.
And we are supposed to know, every one of us. And that's what I've said, because probably I work in the public sector.
Yes.
And most of the times you'll find somebody, one person, one health care provider addressing, say, about 100 people. 1,000, you expect the workload becomes a bit too much for her or him, such that there's not that time to go through that thing and go checking every other thing. They come here, injection, go home. That's the problem we have. But all healthcare providers should be aware, and they are supposed to be aware that they are supposed to screen. Just screening, meaning you just go through the weighing, asking some few questions, and then knowing exactly what is supposed to happen at what time. Because she has, as she has said, she did not crawl. So those are some of the things that we see with the cerebral palsy. The delay in their developmental milestones. You see, somebody is supposed to know that at the age of 3 months, a child should have head control. That is, you're able to raise your head and be able to look aside, naangalia. So if that is not happening, please, you're supposed to refer to the right people. See, a pediatrician, an occupational therapist, that kind of people, so that the earlier, the better, because the intervention becomes better.
At Mama Lucy, how many occupational therapists do we have?
We have 7.
Okay, how many patients do you see going through the system in a day?
In occupational therapy or in the hospital?
No, in the hospital.
More than 1,000 per day. More than 1,000.
Okay.
Patients come walking and out.
In that facility?
Yes, in that facility, more than 1,000 per day.
And of these people, how many of them require the services of an occupational therapist?
There are so many, but probably some of them will disappear in between because somebody did not identify that thing. But as we speak now, what we do is that we do early screening, more so in the maternity and then BUs, neonatal units, so that we are able to identify those kids as early as possible. Yeah, but the problem is we have a very big
workload.
Yes, which is a challenge.
So ideally, what is supposed to happen is, as the mother brings the child for this immunization clinics, there are some questions that the mother should be asked by the healthcare practitioner. And when the healthcare practitioner notices something, then they should know that there's an issue.
Yes.
What should they do?
The first thing, that if you realize that it's something that is not wrong with that child, that baby, the first thing that you're supposed to do is to refer. You have, from the baseline, we have the clinic officers trained in pediatrics. That's the first step. Then the pediatrician, the CEO of pediatrics will realize that this is a problem. He either refers to an occupational therapist or cascades that one to a pediatrician now, the consultant. So that condition is identified, further investigations are done, and then the referral system should be the best thing.
And at this stage, what information is the mother being given? The parent, the guardian, the person who's come with this child, what information are they being given?
One thing, it's very, very challenging. It's very challenging because when you realize that a child has cerebral palsy, you must take the mother or the guardian through a process of counseling first. Because you see, you have to understand that if you tell a mother, your child has cerebral palsy, and then she asks you what is cerebral palsy, she has never heard about cerebral palsy, she doesn't know what it is, then you have to take her through that process, what it is, what causes this, and what are the programs, what is the expectation, what do I expect from this child when this condition is here. So you have the first person to take through is that person who is taking care of that child. Psychologically, they are very much devastated. So you have to take care of them first before you even go to the baby or the child.
Okay. Let's take a break. We'll continue this conversation shortly at 7:30. Our Health Friday conversation today is on cerebral palsy, as the world marks World Cerebral Palsy Day. And Michael Mwangi, occupational therapist at Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital, will tell us when this day is. Josephine Kamene is an advocate for equal healthcare rights. She has cerebral palsy. She'll also tell us, why are you advocating for equal healthcare and what that means? Keep it here for that conversation.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
Unbeatable deals at Peppino's Pizza, Kimathi Street. Get this. 2 large pizzas plus a 1.25-liter soda for just 1,500 Kenya shillings, or 2 medium pizzas and a 1.25-liter soda for just 1,200 Kenya shillings. Available every Tuesday and Thursday. Chicken lovers, we got you covered too. Enjoy 2 crispy chicken pieces, chips, and a 350 ml soda for just 500 shillings. Call 0728-261-875 or order online at pepinospizza.co.ke. Join us for mouth-watering treats all month long. #Pepino's Pizza.
Save money on your rising electricity bill with StarTime Solar Home Solution. We offer a complete home and commercial energy saving system that includes solar panels with 15-year warranty, lithium battery with 10 years warranty, and an inverter with 5 years warranty. StarTime Solar Home Solution is efficient, reliable, and safe to power essential appliances, complete home lighting, refrigerators, air conditioners, washing machines, microwaves, iron box, instant shower, and entertainment devices, television, computers, Wi-Fi, and so much more. Say yes to reduced electricity bills and call us today on 0719 077 777 and get started on your green energy journey today. StarTime Solar. Power your life.
The weather with SpiceFM.
Sunny conditions in Nairobi 14, and we'll see highs of 25 and lows of 13. It's 13 and sunny in Nakuru with highs of 25. 25 will also be the high in a sunny Nyeri at 12. 12 degrees and sunny in Eldoret with highs of 24 and lows of 11. Mombasa is sunny at 24 with highs of 30 and at 26. Malindi will be sunny through Friday with highs of 30 and lows of 24. Sunny at 19 in Kisumu with highs of 31, while Kakamega will go to highs of 29 and lows of 15. Partly sunny conditions at 19 in Kampala with highs of 28, and Dar es Salaam at 25 will see highs of 30 and lows of 24. It's 5 degrees and sunny in Johannesburg with highs of 22, and we're looking into a sunny Mogadishu at 27 with highs of 31. It's raining in Addis Ababa still at 13, highs of 21 and lows of 12, while it's a partly cloudy Friday in Lagos at 25. We'll see highs of 29. Cloudy at 23 in Kinshasa with highs of 32 and lows of 23.
Spice up your life.
Busy on the Eastern Bypass, some traffic in different spots as you try to approach North Airport Road, and then also coming in from Outer Ring at that junction of Embakasi. It is busy this morning. Kangunda Road coming out then towards the Outer Ring junction is also busy. Inbound traffic towards the Thika Superhighway is also starting to build. On the Thika Superhighway coming in from Survey through towards the city is busy as well, and we've got some hold up traffic there, as well as on Kiambu Road. On Gong Road, some traffic as well, and also coming in through towards the city, that is busy. Langata Road also will do the thing this morning. We're getting into traffic hour. Let's see what happens as we get through it this morning. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag the Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, 26 minutes to 8. Our Health Friday conversation continues. It's around cerebral palsy. Our guest, Josephine Kamene, who has cerebral palsy and an advocate for equal healthcare rights, and Michael Mwangi, an occupational therapist at Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital. We called you Daktari and it was in error. Sorry. So who's an occupational therapist?
Okay, an occupational therapist is a professional trained to take a person throughout life, the daily activities of life, train somebody in the functions that takes you throughout your life. Let's take, for example, my friend here, Josephine. Josephine started talking about that she could not crawl.
Yeah.
So an occupational therapist will use therapeutic techniques to train her to have head control, from the word head control to sitting, crawling, standing and walking. We are trained to do that. Those are steps in life. After that, she has to transition from that sitting to the way she is now walking.
Yeah.
Then you have to look at, an occupational therapist will have to look at the environment where Josephine is living in. How can we adapt that one to suit her conditions, to suit her lifestyle? That's an occupational therapist. Now, suppose you go there and have an accident, God forbid.
Yeah.
Then you come back, you are a driver. You cannot go back to your occupation. That's why we are talking about. You cannot go back to your occupation. How do you adapt you to go through life? We do modification of vehicles for you to still to continue driving. That's the work of an occupational therapist, to look at the whole spectrum of life, so that we take you through that system. No, we talk about occupations because from the word go, you wake up in the morning. That's an occupation. From the time you wake up, how do you go to the bathroom? How do you put on your clothes? How do you start now preparing your breakfast? Those are occupations. So if something happens in between, there must be modification and adaptation of the environment through guidance of an occupational therapist, so that you can live a better life, more fulfilling than when you have those other conditions. No.
So when you went to school, Josephine, and you went to a special school, at what point did you know what exactly your condition was?
I think it was after a very long time, because when I went to school afterwards, my mom took me to medical assessments, and that is when I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. That is when I came to know about cerebral palsy. I was so eager to know, to dig deep what is this condition. So I was so curious, I just went ahead to read more about it, what it is, and how to deal with it. Because this is something that you cannot change. It is here to stay. So you have to just adjust and be you.
So you had to be moved to special school?
Yes, I moved to special school.
Okay. What did you find there that was different from the conventional school?
Here we had people from different communities with diverse disabilities. And that is when I came to know that, not that I'm alone in this world. We have different people with different impairments, and I just learned to love and accept who I am. Yeah.
And when school closed and you went back home, did the other children have any understanding of the condition that you had?
When the school closed, I don't think the children would understand what really cerebral palsy is. But the best thing, we maintained our relationship. We were friends, so they did not leave me or maybe see me different.
Yeah.
If it is playing, they could involve me. Going to fetch firewood, I could go with them. And doing everything like they were doing, so they could involve me. They did not discriminate me in any way. Yeah.
You know, there's an argument that has been made about integration schools and having special schools or integrating schools. And that's why I'm leading with this question. So when you're in the special school, you're here with other children with different disabilities.
Yes.
So even your playtime and all, they're different.
Yeah.
And then you come during holiday and you're finding children who some have disability, many don't have disability, but you're used to 3 months of a situation where you're dealing in a certain way. And now the environment is changing, as Michael was telling us. Why are you having those challenges of adjusting, like maybe the first week of holiday, adjusting to this home environment?
For what probably I did find it difficult because it's a life that I already used to. But you know, it comes hard for you if at all you have issues with your self-esteem. If your self-esteem is high and you know who you are, then that will not be a challenge. Yeah.
And that's an important part, Siri.
Yes, you're the firstborn in your family.
Yes.
You have 3 other siblings.
Yes.
Talk to me about how you relate to your siblings.
for me in the family. Even after they all know that I have the condition, and that did not take away my roles as their elder sister. So I'm their deputy parent. They obey what I say, and they know that I'm their sister, so they didn't treat me differently. I think we grew up very well, interacting very well with each other, and nothing really changed. If it is duties, we are accorded duties equally. If I can do this, then I'll do it. That the one that I cannot do, then they can help me in doing it. So nothing really changes. They know that I'm there. I'm their sister despite everything. Yeah.
It's interesting, Josephine, because you obviously today are a champion for people who live with cerebral palsy and saying, you can be normal. It's one of the things that you said, that you can lead a normal life. How did the education that you received and you continue to receive help you in dealing with your siblings, for example, with your family, with your friends?
From now interacting with different people from different diversities, so that learns that the most important thing is just to focus on what you can change, leave alone what you cannot change, adjust to that situation, and everything else will align according to how you want it to be. The best thing to do is, if you have a positive mindset, then you're good to go. Yeah.
How far in school did you go? What's the highest education?
College.
Up to college?
Yes.
And then what do you do now?
For now, I'm a disability inclusion advocate. I run my own organization. I serve at an international organization known as Association for the Physically Disabled of Kenya. I serve board of directors representing the youth.
I see. And you said you are an advocate for equal healthcare rights.
Yes.
What's that?
This is, when we talk about human rights, health is one of it. Every human being has a right to dignified quality health care. So, if this part of anyone having an impairment or that a disability, you have the right to access health care without any discrimination, without being seen as a burden. And this is something that is not really happening when it comes to persons with disabilities. Like, for example, when you go to a health care facility looking for maybe contraceptives and you have a disability, you can go ask for example, I can go looking for a CD, that is a condom. Then somebody will ask you, just when you need it. How on earth can you ask that question? And yet you really know.
You know what it is for.
Yeah, you know the purpose of it. And not simply because I have a disability. Go ahead and ask me, why do I need it? So what kind of a question is that? So, and again, another challenge that we persons with disabilities encounter is when accessing maternal health care. And I didn't mention to you, I'm a mother of one.
Nice.
So when I was seeking for maternal services, it was not easy because you see, I don't know if the child will tell us here. I don't know if in nursing or maybe when somebody is doing medical, I don't know if there is a unit whereby they are taught about various disabilities because the questions that you get in there are not so friendly to the ears. And when you answer them accordingly, they say you as an adult person. So for me, I think, accessing maternal health care was a big challenge, and that is why I use my experience as a voice to change the situation, because I know my experience was, I went through that experience for me to be alert. And the voice, those who cannot voice their own issues due to maybe fear or maybe lack of, maybe they don't have confidence in them to share their experiences.
Yeah. You will be their voice.
I am.
Very good.
Yes.
Article 43 of the Constitution of Kenya. Every person has the right to A, to the highest attainable standard of health, which includes the right to healthcare services, including reproductive healthcare. This is a right in the Bill of Rights of the Constitution. So when I'm happy when I hear you say that, you are advocating for equal healthcare rights.
Yes.
Because it says every person.
Yeah.
Every person, whether you have a disability or not, you have a right to access this. Do you find, Mwangi, people not getting access to these rights? Is it an attitude issue, a lack of awareness issue?
Let me start by saying that actually what she is saying cuts across our community, our society. And the people who work in those facilities are part of our society. You have that attitude that you see. She has mentioned a very sensitive issue where you go for services, maternal services, and somebody asks you, Nani alifanya hii sasa? You see, that's the question that asks.
Sure.
Those are I know I've come across, I've worked for several years, so many years in that field, and I know the questions that these people come through. It's because our society generally has refused to accept and move on and accept these people that, apart from having these challenges, they are still human beings with their rights. So, like she has said rightfully, that you go to a maternity, like, for example, last year but one, we had a deaf mother in the maternity. And because deafness is one of the disabilities that we have, and it is not seen, not the way now we can see Josephine. So you see, when you look at Josephine, you can tell something. But for deaf people, you don't see it. So the mother is there in the maternity, and then somebody is doing the ward round. And I was a mama. Unasikia uchungu. You see, the mother cannot hear.
Of course.
So they went and they said, ikifika tu ataitana tu the. And then the mother delivers there because she cannot be able to. There was no communication. So what she's saying is somehow fair, and it's supposed to be eliminated because through creating awareness that these people, and actually going to what you have said in our constitution, making sure that we follow our constitution. These people, all of them, all of us, we have our rights to be accorded dignity when we are having all those issues. Yeah.
But if I may ask the question, how do you get people to be sensitive enough to understand that the fact that someone is different from you doesn't make them less or more of a human being than you, and how it is you treat people well the same? Because look at our country and look at even the discussions we're now having about politics. It has nothing to do with disabilities, but that discussion speaks of a greater disability that we have. Because if you are willing to treat people differently simply because their community is different from yours, then someone comes with an infirmity that is not of their choice and it's physical. That is what makes them different. That's all. Now, how do you get people to be accommodative, sensitive enough to be accommodative and to understand that perhaps a little care and attention. We are sensitive to little children. We know the needs that little children have. We handle little children well. Now, this person who is different, because that's all, they're different. Circumstances, situations have made them different, and you have difficulties. Even if you're overloaded, because public hospitals, the workload that you people have, it's abnormal. Yes, it's abnormal. And mistakes will be made simply because of that. But how do you ensure, beyond the advocacy work that Josephine is doing, how do you make people who work within our health system understand that specific need of being sensitive to these differences?
I would say, for example, in Mamaluso where I work, we have created a system whereby we call them CMEs, continuous medical education. You will call this person from this department, this one from the other department. You give them a talk on how to identify, how to deal with, and how to refer these people, and how to treat them. For the cadres, now, it's not occupational therapists or people who are dealing with rehabilitation services. That's one thing. The other thing, from Malusi there, I know about it. I've talked about a deaf person. We have employed sign interpreters for those people, so that they don't have those challenges. When a deaf person comes and then the person is diarrheaing, is doing all those other things, you must get that information from that person. How do you get it? You must get somebody to interpret for them. That's what is happening in Mama Lucy. We have two
CMEs compulsory.
CMEs, okay, they are not compulsory, but we advocate that every department should set somebody once in a month, so that actually we raise the awareness. And another thing that we also do is giving talks, even at the MCH and those other departments. You go there as a person who is dealing with people with disabilities, and then you give a talk on how to handle these people, so that somebody will not be mishandled, and then raise that issue of dignity being denied, or that right being denied for that person just because he's different from us.
Yeah. So just, you're 32. One would assume that... Do you still go through therapy right now? And is it as often as you did before?
Right now I don't go for any therapy because therapy is just there to help you, just to maybe stabilize you, but at the end of the day, there is no cure.
Yeah.
So I can just be you, accept that this is a fact, this is how I am. Even if I go to therapy, I cannot change much. So as for now, I don't go for any therapy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some things? Now you're an advocate today for understanding and championing rights. What are some things that you look for, or that you hope, and that folks who are living with disability, that you hope would change? What are some things that are challenges today that need to be addressed?
I think when we start talking about the challenges, we can talk the whole day. But to just pinpoint a few, what I would like to see more so in our health facilities, if we can have if we can have a toll-free line whereby if a person with disabilities goes to any health facility and faces any kind of discrimination, they can call or text for free and report the matter. And why am I saying this? This is because, some of us may not have that courage to come and speak. But if it's a call, I can just make a call at the comfort of my home.
Yes.
I can as well as text, and somebody can hear me and they can get help. Another thing is, why can't we also have a special consultation room for people with disabilities, specifically for them? I know we are advocating for inclusion, but this is not to mean that when we have our own consultation room, we are excluding ourselves. No, we just want to be safe, and also to get the quality services that we deserve. And another thing that I would really like to do is to create awareness in these hospitals, because we find that most of the health practitioners have no clue about disabilities. If they know, they just know that having a disability, you have to be on a wheelchair. So that is what they know. Yet we have other disabilities that they are not even considered. And like when you talk about disabilities, you have those disabilities which are underrepresented. Talk of a person who is deaf blind. talk about people with cerebral palsy, talk about people with social disabilities, and they are not visible.
They are not visible.
Yeah.
You said you had an organization that you run.
Yes, I am.
And it's specifically for people with cerebral palsy.
Purely, the large number is for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a database for the number of people we have in this country who have cerebral palsy?
As for now, mine is just a baby organization. Yes. We are yet to be there. We are yet to get there. Mm-hmm. We don't have funding as for now. Yes. But in future, that is something that I'm looking forward to.
How many members do you have so far?
So far, I have 15 members. Mm-hmm. Only that, due to some financial constraints, you cannot involve many people here, so cannot give them the right services. I don't want just to be there, just to be there. I just want to
add value.
Yeah, to add value and be of great impact into their lives.
People who may have missed this, please say the name of your organization again and where you're based.
My organization is called Able Rights Africa Society. Able Rights.
Able Rights.
Able Rights. We are able to rise up and do anything right.
Able Rights.
Able Rights Africa Society.
Africa Society.
Yeah.
Where are you based? Where's your office?
I'm based in Wairimu, that is Mountain View.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if people would like to, engage with you, maybe offer any kind of support, you may want somebody who I would like more occupational therapists who can come and say we can offer our support through Able Rise or any other support. How would they reach you?
They can call me, just call me direct to my number, which is 07 11 123 024. 07 11 123 024.
All right.
Yeah.
There are various structures and layers that I was thinking about from the government level. There's a Ministry of Labour and Social Protection. There's a National Council for Persons with Disability. And cascading all the way down to the counties. From your experience, do they read the same book, let alone being on the same page?
Personally, it depends, but my answer would be if I was to let them, the ones that I've mentioned, I think I'll just give them not more than 50%.
Why?
Because you see, when it comes to representation, you find that somebody is sitting somewhere in the name of representing people with disabilities, and yet they don't have any form of disability. So how then will this person be able to articulate my issues? So there's a huge gap.
Huge gap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big ones. So which day does the world mark World Cerebral Palsy Day?
It will be on Sunday, the 6th.
This Sunday?
Yeah.
The 6th.
Yeah.
Are there any events organized at any level?
I know there are some, but I've not heard of the international one. I know some organizations have arranged some events to raise more awareness on this condition. Yeah.
Okay. Josephine, very, very interesting story. People have said you are courageous, you're good, you keep fighting that good fight, keep raising awareness, keep advocating for access to healthcare and for everyone. Everybody should have equal rights to accessing healthcare.
Sure.
And that's what you do on a daily basis. Michael as well, thank you very much for joining us today. And the work that you're doing at Mama Lucy, say hello to the other 6 occupational therapists and all the medics there and the ones that you engage with and interact with even outside of your facility. The work that you do, keep doing it.
Indeed.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us. Michael Mwangi, occupational therapist at Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital, and Josephine Kamene, advocate for equal healthcare rights. They've been our guests.
Yes.
This Health Friday conversation. Say something.
Okay. Now, as we mark the World Cerebral Palsy Day on Sunday, I just want to pass this message to any parent out there who has a child with cerebral palsy and they are hiding them in their houses. Let them come out let them interact with other people in the society, because you never know. You never know the future of that child that you are hiding. Let them come out. Just let them be like any other people. And also, that's what we need to do is persons with cerebral palsy. We don't need sympathy. We need empathy, empowerment, and opportunities. So just don't feel like you're alone. And what I know is that you are the best version of yourself. Come out clean, come out clearly, come out bold enough, and conquer the world.
Thank you.
Very well said. Those are the best final words. 8 a.m. news time.
It's now 9 o'clock with Safaricom. Go monthly with an all-in-one bundle and enjoy convenience and value with Safaricom. For just 2,000 bob a month, enjoy 17 GB data, 1,000 minutes, 2,000 SMSs, and free WhatsApp. Go monthly. Dial star 544 hash and select Go monthly. Safaricom is for you.
It's 8 a.m. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Asada. Good morning. The public participation exercise in the impeachment motion against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has kicked off across the country. The National Assembly announced that the activity will be carried out in all the 47 counties where you have the chance to share your views on the DP's ouster. Mombasa residents will be at the Okoh Social Hall. Kwale residents will be at Kwale Cultural Center. Kilifi residents will give their views at the Coastal Development Authority Social Hall. In Nyeri County, residents have been asked to present their views at the Nyeri Cultural Hall, while in Murang'a, the activity is being held at the University of Nairobi. Nairobi, you have an opportunity to give your views at the KICC. If you are unable to present your views physically, you can do so via an email through impeachment@parliament.go.ke before Saturday, October 5th. On a related matter, Senate Speaker Amason Kingi has cautioned the senators against making comments about the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua currently before the National Assembly. Kingi noted that the matter may be referred to the Senate for consideration and determination in accordance with the Articles 145 and 150 of the Constitution. Kingi made the remarks in a communication to the House following a motion that has been filed in the National Assembly on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua.
It is in the public domain that a motion has been filed in the National Assembly on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. In accordance with Article 145 and 150 of the Constitution, this is a matter that may be referred to the Senate for consideration and determination. However, as this matter is currently before the National Assembly, Standing Order 1015 provides it shall be out of order for a senator to criticize or call to question the proceedings in the National Assembly. As such, therefore, I caution all honorable senators to desist on commenting on the proceedings in the National Assembly on this particular matter.
Now, Baby Pendo's family will have to wait a little longer for justice to be served. This after the court deferred plea taking for 12 police commanders and officers accused of being behind the death of Baby Pendo. The High Court extended the warrant of arrest issued against the officers accused of crimes against humanity relating to the unlawful killing of baby Samantha Pendo during the post-election protest in Kisumu, Nyalenda in 2017. In a statement, lobbyists condemned the move, saying the deferring of plea taking is a human rights violation against several citizens. According to them, deferring plea taking is a major disappointment to the several survivors and victims' families.
The deferring of plea taking against 12 police commanders and officers accused of killing baby Pendo and perpetuating several human rights violations against several Kisumu citizens and application of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions today is a major disappointment to several survivors and victims' families. This case is pivotal in establishing police accountability and ensuring justice for the victims of police violence. This case applies the principle of command responsibility for all police commanders who are being prosecuted who fail to effectively rein in or effectively command police action in the course of duty.
The management of Hillside and Asha School, where a fire tragedy resulted in the death of 21 students, has postponed the opening of the school for 2 days. Now, stakeholders of the school announced the postponement until Wednesday next week to allow the management to adequately prepare for the term that started with sadness and grief. Now, Nyeri County Director of Education Jen Jogot said, after assessing the readiness of the school, they have found that there are parts of infrastructure that should be repaired before allowing students back in school.
The school is on top gear. They are moving very fast. They are working 24/7. They have done a lot of constructions and reconstructions to ensure that the runners are comfortable when they come back to school. However, we realized that there is some work that was incomplete, and the fundis told us that it was not possible to complete by Sunday.
As a result of the tragedy, the school has reduced the number of boarding students, while all the wooden beds in the girls' dormitory have been removed and replaced with metallic ones in accordance with the recommendations of the committee that conducted investigations. Remember that today we are following up on the public participation across the country. Standard Media Group is following up on these exercises, and a special programming is currently ongoing on KTN. Be sure to join us there. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
When you're impeached, you're impeached. When you're sentenced, you're sentenced.
Madam Chief Justice.
Until the sentence is set aside. Ukibeba vitu kwa roho utakufa. If you carry things in your heart, you will die.
The reason for which you went to school and then gathered experience, that reason must be paid for.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
This level.
Shape up or ship out.
Levels don't change.
No. Since I'm not shipping out. You know my business partner here.
Shipping out.
Are we talking about the ship in the bathtub? Or
the ship man?
One of Talabu used to tell us a story of they were in school and they've been told to write composition about a ship. His classmate raises a hand. Teacher, are you talking about a ship or a ship goat?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
102.5 SpiceFM, Kisumu.
If you go out of this country and come back the same person, then you have a problem. Buy land, 1 million. Put it there for 5 years. What's the purpose?
It'll have increased in value.
No, that's the thing. That's darkness. That's an eclipse. You don't do that.
I hope you don't believe that hustler is a poor person or that all hustlers are poor. I've seen that conversation.
Tell us, who is a hustler?
So who's a hustler? Hustler is a person who is making a living through hard work.
Corruption in Kenya is a political accusation. The people who are actually corrupt are not pointed fingers at.
Kenya is not free. Kenya imeshikwa na mateka. It's under siege.
Have you seen that lodge on Nyeri Road? Very high fence. You can't even
windows
sleep inside.
Up near the ceiling.
Yes. And if you walk there at midnight, you see bats the size of cows.
And when it rains, it doesn't rain on that building.
Yes.
When you're at All Saints and it's raining, it doesn't rain on that building.
The things people will believe.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Patrick Lodge, Otieno Lumumba. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
CT Muga.
CT Lodge. Muga, not Muga.
He's here and here's the day's proverb.
One man marries a woman. Another man marries troubles.
Is he the same man?
Spice.
A lion cannot eat more than 2 donkeys. It would die a natural death because there is no ICU in the forest. In Kenya, it has become the situation that you cannot conduct 2 elections. In fact,
with the same IBC.
You can't.
I tell you about this Indian friend of mine who was enjoying other Indians in the group. He wrote the word valve and told them, read it.
So how did he say it? I really want to know.
The valve. Of course, kina Ednah, it's the, you said the B's and the P's. Kila kitu mkisia kisema atasema opposite.
Opposite?
Ukisema hii anasema opposite.
Opposite.
Ukisikiliza namna hii unasikia opposite.
The Situation Room, Spice. The only way to start your day.
Waliletea fujo Moi mpaka wakapata cooperation. Wakakuja wakasumbua Kibaki mpaka wakachukua nusu mkate. Wamekuja wakazungusha Uhuru hapo mpaka wakaenda na handshake, program yetu ikapotea, BBI ikaendelea, tukazama, tukaingia kwa madeni. Sasa mimi nimewaambia, hii serikali hii, mimi nawaambia hii serikali ni ya mahasla. Hakuna nusu mkate, hakuna handshake, hakuna hiyo borojo.
Jana nimeona wale wazee tulishinda. Ati hiyo mzee akisema ati he'll not be coerced or intimidated to joining our government. Wewe mzee sikia. We have no business within our government. Hatuna haja na hatugojei wewe. We are not looking for you and we have no time. Stop saying that people can force you to come to this government. Forget about being forced or coerced. We are not interested because sisi tuko na kazi ya kufanya.
Kama kuna mtu ako na namba ya William Ruto, arekodi hii video mtumie. Maisha yangu tangu nizaliwe sijawahi kuona mtu muongo, mfisadi, baradhuli, dhabdhabina kama William Samoei Ruto. Mimi Hassan Joho nikitaka kuongea, mimi I don't even dream of engaging with them. Ati huyu akitaka aje ongee sio na mimi niongee na Ruto nini? Mimi nikamtafute atanipa nini? Wilbaro. I wonder. Nilipeleka Wilbaro mimi la kimtaani la kucheza nalo zamani.
We have a choice to reject over 60% of these names or give President Ruto his skunk. Apart from a few individuals who are not even more than 8, the rest are incompetent, unqualified, have integrity issues, are people who cannot deliver this country from where it is to the next level that we want the country to move in.
A few moments later.
Now forwarded the name of John Mbadi Ngongo to the Ministry of National Treasury and Economic Planning. The Honorable Hassan Ali Joho, Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
All right, where are we at a few minutes after 8 o'clock? Traffic still busy coming off of Langata Road and also some movement coming in from the Thika Superhighway. We'll see some of that as you also get into the city, coming in from Westlands and Waiyaki Way and coming in to the city on Gong Road. From Naivasha Road, Kikuyu Road, that whole area, it's pretty busy this morning. And the Eastern Bypass with traffic coming in from North Airport Road and then getting its way through towards the Cabanas interchange. It's going to be a busy morning. It already has been off the jump. Let's see what happens as we get through towards the end of traffic hour. We're all here for it. Let's know what's going on. I know that people are finding their way to different centers to talk about certain things in terms of public participation. We'll see what that does for traffic. We'll talk. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
So we're giving away 2,500 shillings courtesy of Loop. And what we're saying is open a Loop account, transact with the Loop account, and we'll put some money into your Loop account. Sidi, what is the Loop account?
Well, it's beyond an experience. It is a lifestyle. If I were to welcome you and you're a first-time visitor to this particular planet, I'd say, welcome to the 21st century.
Kabisa.
Because everything that you think about when you look at your life and the style that goes along with it is available. If you're talking about financial promptitude, the ability to transact quickly, the ability to engage and emerge, everything that you wish to do all in one basket, Loop enables you to do just that. And the only way you actually get to understand the depth and the width of this experience is you download the app. Yes.
That's it.
Just download the app and then see.
Go to
for
App Store,
yourself.
Play Store, download the Loop app, all right? What color is that, Loop?
Orange.
Yes. You'll find it. It's orange. It has a big L. Download it, register. If you don't have an account, register. It's very, very easy, by the way. They just ask you for your details. And because it's regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya, NCBA Bank, then they'll do those know your customer things that they're required to do. Have your ID ready with you, because at some point as you're registering, it'll tell you just take a photo of the front of your ID and the back of your ID, and that's it. And then it just continues registering you. Once you register, they even send you an email to verify the account and the code. Register, verify, 20, transact, make any transaction. Just interact with the app, make a transaction. Either you're transferring money from one account into another, either you are linking one card to your account, or you are sending money from your account to a mobile money platform. It can be any, or you're doing a transfer through Pesapal, because you can do that. Whatever you do, just make a transaction and then send us a screenshot of your transaction, of that you making a transaction. We could give you 2,500 shillings and deposit it into that Loop account. That's as good a way as we're doing this morning, right? We're also giving away 3,000 shillings courtesy of Safaricom Home Fiber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can imagine a time gone by where you had to basically go across the world to be able to communicate with somebody else via email, or when you wanted to watch something you used. Okay, let's not even go back in terms of history. But Safaricom has made it possible for you to have a connectivity to the rest of the world from the comfort of your home. It's Safaricom Home Fiber. How do you get logged on? Well, you dial *400#, you pick the package that you want, and you'll be able to experience increased speeds that Safaricom has made sure that you can have from the comfort of your home. It's connecting to the internet, it's streaming of live, it's watching movies, it's doing your work, it's getting everything that needs to be done that would require an internet connection at the comfort of your spaces. Okay? You can get that done. We'll give you 3,000 bob if you send us a screenshot of how you have either upgraded your current package or if you've then applied for a new connection. It's Safaricom Home Fiber. It's quite the thing.
It's like that.
Yes, it is.
Right? City.
Yes, please.
Why don't you please give us a reminder of the day's proverb, final proverb from
the Republic of the Gambia.
Okay.
A leopard that visits you is the one that kills you.
A leopard that visits you
is the one
that does
kills,
what?
It kills you. It's the one that knows you, it's the one that's familiar with you. That one.
Yeah. And you should be very careful.
You should be.
Be very afraid.
Be extremely afraid.
Be very afraid. Because you welcome a leopard home. You think that you guys are buddy.
The question that you should ask, what are you thinking?
Way.
Leopard, your friend.
Way.
Okay.
Way. So something is happening around the areas of the Middle East, around there, right? In Lebanon in particular, Israel has decided, these Hezbollah guys, So we are dealing with them. Now, as they are dealing with the Hezbollah people, they are also finding the ordinary citizens of Lebanon. Okay? Now, those ordinary citizens of Lebanon have things that they do. They have workers that they have employed. Some of those workers are Kenyans. So we have been seeing stories and hearing stories of what's happening to those Kenyans who've moved to work in Lebanon. For example, a story by Mercy Simiyu 2 days ago. No, yesterday, in The Nation, said Kenya says its nationals in Lebanon are not registering for evacuation despite calls to do so. The Department of Diaspora Affairs had on Wednesday said it was still not yet receiving applicants, even though some Kenyans directly appealed to the media for help, claiming they had been locked inside by their employers who fled. Lebanon has been under a hail of fire from Israeli forces hunting down Lebanese militants, Hezbollah, for the last 2 weeks, but Kenya says it notified its nationals long before this war began, and as soon as there were signs that the conflict could spread from Gaza to Lebanon. We have 26,000 Kenyans in Lebanon. 26,000. And we have evacuated less than 100 individuals in 2 batches. So you still have 25,000 Kenyans in Lebanon. As of this morning, that is as of Wednesday, around 3,500 Kenyans had registered for evacuation, an increase from the 3,000 reported earlier. That was Principal Secretary for Diaspora Affairs, Roslyn Jogo, who said this. This number is expected to increase further with the ongoing efforts. It's important to note that evacuation remains a voluntary process. No tenant is forced to leave, and they retain the freedom to stay if they wish. We are deeply concerned that a large number of Kenyans in Lebanon have not yet registered for evacuation despite our repeated calls. We want to know who actually is within this jurisdiction of Lebanon. Kenyans have not always registered themselves with the nearest embassy, but this, though there is an obligation, Kenyans don't always do that. Now, as the ministry is saying all these things, there are Kenyans who are actually stuck there. In multiple interviews last week, some Kenyan domestic workers in Lebanon expressed frustration about the lack of action after filling out repatriation since June. We were sent a link to fill out for evacuation back in July. Still, nothing has happened. Months have passed. It feels like we've been forgotten. No updates, no news. It's like we are invisible. How can they send us a link and then leave us here, stranded and scared? Nobody's saying anything. It makes me feel so abandoned. Some girls are still arriving here, completely unaware of what they are walking into. This was Alice Kaleche, who works as a caregiver in Beirut. The workers described the harrowing reality of living in a war zone with the sounds of bombs and gunfire becoming a constant backdrop. While other countries evacuate their citizens, they feel abandoned. I'm traumatized. This is what she said. I can't sleep. I have no appetite. Every day feels harder than the last. We've tried to contact the agents back home to ask for help. We are not getting. Now, we've spoken to some of those Kenyans who are stranded there, and our producer Lydiah has actually been reaching out to them and speaking to them and saying, what's the situation like? And some of them are saying, you know what, it's just getting worse and worse. You're in a foreign country. You don't have the experience of war. Kenyans, we don't have experience of war.
No, we don't.
We don't know what bombs, we just read, bombs. We don't know what that is. Now, can you imagine suddenly a young 19, 20, 23, 25, even 30-year-old person is just hearing bombs, whatever.
Yeah.
And the employer, in some cases, has left. There was a story about an employer who upped and left. When the lady was waking up, she found that, my employer has left and they left me. Others, the employer has left and has the passport. So you're basically stranded.
Yep.
In any situation of conflicts, we already know that, there are certain things which have come under fire. Now, we've looked at what's happening with Hezbollah in Beirut, and we know, and other parts of Lebanon, we know what has caused that. But now, if you look at the humanitarian issues that are going on surrounding that, you can imagine that there's a cutoff of supply of so many things. There's a cutoff of supply of your basic infrastructure, of transport, so transport and movement now becomes an issue, of basic living, because yes, we know that people have been affected, of care, hospitals have been affected. We know that in Lebanon today, children have been stopped from going to school just because of what's been going on. So you can imagine that is for the people who live in country and are citizens of the country.
Yep.
Imagine for those now who are there on a 2-year stint, on a stint for 6 months, and do not know where to go in the instant where there is a problem like this. And that's the problem that we are facing today. We also know that many of the situations are that folks who work, like you said, their travel documents are lodged with their employer. If your employer has gone for safety at that moment, they're not thinking that they have your travel document. They're thinking that they need to take care of themselves and go to a place where they can seek refuge. So then what happens to you? And now what happens to you situation is what we're dealing with today. We're talking about that for Kenya because that's where we are at the moment. There are Kenyans who are stranded. They have a single source of communication and maybe they're able to talk to their people. But how do you get from point A to point B? How do you get to the airport? How do you get out if you need to now? Because we're not dealing with just a conflict within Lebanon, but we're dealing with one that is is international.
Yep.
And there are many forces that are at play here. So what happens to them? And to understand their situation a little bit better is why we're doing this today, to say that, look, we're reaching out, and it's necessary for us to know how they're being taken care of, if they are.
Yeah. So please, if you've got a relative who is in Lebanon, who's stranded in Lebanon, or who's seeking to leave Lebanon, and you've been able to talk to them, call us, talk to us, give us their contact, let's talk to them. Let them call us if they're able to, 0719-012-600. Let's have these conversations with them. And let's have the conversations with the families here as well to understand what's going on. What's going on in Lebanon. Now, it's a good thing, CT, that the government is actually making plans to evacuate and actively doing so. And saying every day, because I remember even before bombs started landing in southern Lebanon properly, the government had already started saying, we are asking Kenyans who are in Lebanon, please register. And if you think that the situation is getting a bit serious for you and you'd like to leave, please register and say that you'd like to leave. And that's why the 2 batches of Kenyans have come home, because they sought to be brought home. And the government is saying, people, please register, please register. Now the question is how they're registering and all, but there's that bit that the government is actively seeking to get Kenyans to then help them leave the war-torn country and come back home. That's a positive there.
It is an extremely positive thing, but like most things that we say about the government isn't really very good at letting people know the things that they're doing loudly. You see, as you mentioned, these people who are in Lebanon have relatives in Kenya. Okay? It would help tremendously if these relatives also understood the seriousness of that situation, so that they could implore their relatives to actually come in. Because, to be very honest, one doesn't quite know how these individuals went to Lebanon, why they went to Lebanon, whatever it is that they're doing in Lebanon. We can only assume that the closest post to an embassy that we have within around that region will be able to tell us all these numbers. But one of the things about Kenyans also going abroad, not many of them follow what you may call strict documentation. So you're not really quite sure who is actually in Lebanon and who is not, how they got in there and how they... So the getting out now becomes a discussion, okay? But if it is Lebanon, then the question I would ask is, this thing seems to be escalating, and we are talking about Iran now. Because Israel has a problem with Iran. The moment there were missiles and rockets that were fired into Israel and they said it was from Iran, you do not need to be told that the Israeli are going to retaliate. They've already said so, and they will. Now, there are Kenyans in Iran. I don't need to be told. I know there are Kenyans in Iran. There are Kenyans in Iraq. When you are in a region that seems to be headed towards the sort of turmoil that we're seeing, surely, is it not wise for that person to actually leave? Remember, we had Kenyans in Ukraine, and many of them left.
Yes.
Okay, now, we have a situation where we don't seem to be able to predict or to foresee when this particular region is actually going to be calm again. If anything, what we are seeing is an escalation of animosity. Now, a Kenyan who is in that region would perhaps be best advised to actually think and plan to come back home. Yes. Because if it's a problem that is engulfing that region, you as someone who lives in there may very, very likely be affected.
From everything that we see that has happened over the last 1 year, and the retaliation that we know that is likely to occur, that may not be too terrible of an advice to take. Because, and just from recent utterances that we've heard as well, we know that things could actually escalate beyond what they have, beyond where they've already reached today. It's at the point, though, where it's the fire is on. And so those who are stuck are actually wondering, how are we going to get out? What are we actually going to do? And to understand that these are actually living, breathing human beings who need to find their way out. My question is today, where are they? Where are they holed up? Where are they hiding? Where have they sought refuge? For how long will they be there until, there can be some kind of effort to get them out? I think that continues to be the question for them, and the fear is actually very real at this point, that what happens to them? Will they be casualties in terms of, for the time being, how they will be able to get out? are they in a place that is extremely vulnerable? And I think that's what we're trying to find out today.
So we've got some sounds here from some Kenyans who are in Lebanon. Let's just listen to some of them here.
Hello, kwa majina naitwa Kale Nyanchoka Bosire kutoka Kenya, but for now niko Lebanon. Mahali kumekuwa kukirushwa bomu na mimi ni mfanyakazi wa ndani, nafanya kazi ya nyumba huku Lebanon. So kumekuwa kubaya sana since bomu zianze kurushwa. Mimi sikuwa najua anything about hizi bomu. But ilibidi tumehamia kutoka huko, ilibidi tumeama. Kitu chochote about Hezbollah, sijui anything kabisa, sijui. But nilisikia tu huyo mkubwa wa Hezbollah aliuawa, alikufa. Yeah. About Israel, mimi naye sijui kabisa. Mimi ni mfanyikazi, sijui anything. Mimi nilishtukia tu bomu wanarusha. Yeah. About government ya Kenya tu tulikuwa tunaomba tu mtusaidie mahali mnaweza. At least tusaidike, wengine hatuna mahali tunaishi, wengine tuko homeless, mtusaidie tu. Mahali imefika mtusaidie. Wengine hatuna safe, tunalala nje, tunaamka tukiwa hivyo na baridi na gonga. Na huku kwa msitu wengine wetu tunaishi kwa tent, tuko kwa matent. Yeah. And about kurudi, yeah, kama mimi ningekuwa na uwezo naweza rudi, but bosi haizi kubali juu hata huku ndani tuko safe, ataanza kucomplain juu tuko safe na hao kama sinataka kurudi. Yeah. Mabosi wengine wameweka passport zetu, so hakuna venye tunaweza rudi. Hata tukitaka kurudi hakuna venye tunaweza rudi, watasema tuwalipe na wengine wetu hatuna do za kuwalipa. And about my family naongeanga nayo sana. Juu pia wao wako worried, wako worried by the way. Wanataka wangekuwa na uwezo ningesharudi, but sasa hawana uwezo. Wengine wetu tumetoka familia zenye hazijiwezi. That's why tukakuja kufanya kazi huko, at least to change familia zetu, but sasa imekuwa mngori, hatuwezi change. Na wengine wetu hatuna hata pesa, hata tunaweza toka nayo tukifika airport ya Kenya, hatuna anything, I mean. And about embassy ya Kenya, hawajai tusaidia anything. Hakuna venye wanaweza tusaidia, hakuna usaidizi wowote, I mean, hakuna kabisa. Na huku embassy ya huku hata ilishafungwa, so hakuna venye mtu anaweza toka huku akirudi Kenya, wamefunga.
So here there's a lot of breakdown in communication here. There are very many things, and there are very many moving parts. There's some people whose employers are withholding their travel documents. Some who say, okay, I could leave, but what do I even tell my employer? My employer will tell me, we are safe, we are living here. Why are you going? Why do you want to leave? Right? So they feel disempowered enough to say, I want to leave. Others are feeling, I came here for a purpose. And the purpose was to earn a living and be able to support my family back home. Should I leave this employment under these circumstances? What does that mean? Right? So they're caught up between making that decision. If it's my employer is looking gung-ho and looking arrogant and saying, we are okay, we don't have to leave, right? If I just said, I want to up and leave, then what also does that mean in terms of my plans to come here to earn a living?
So are we feeling unsafe on their behalf?
Sounds like that.
I think it's not so bad for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's if we're to go by what this individual is saying, that there are places where you're safe. But we don't have an embassy in Lebanon. We have an honorary consulate.
Consulate, yes.
In Beirut.
There's a difference. Okay?
It's a difference. But it's a place you can actually go to.
Yep.
The urgency that we seem to be feeling here, just by this one individual, they don't quite seem to have it.
But this is one individual.
Yes.
And it matters where they are.
Okay. Where exactly in Lebanon they are.
Yes.
Yes.
Because those in the south of Lebanon, where now much of this bombardment is happening, those ones will be more at risk than those who are not closer to where the bombardment is happening.
Yeah, the northern part.
Yeah. So it differs.
It's the proximity they have with the Gaza Strip.
Exactly.
That's where the problem is arising. You know, the lady who spoke has brought up an issue that is actually very, very pertinent. For them, they went abroad to work as house help because they needed to work.
Yep.
They are poor. They had no means of earning a living in the country, so they left. Okay? So when you tell them come back, the question is asking to come back and do what exactly?
So I come back to what I
To
left.
what?
To what yes.
Because one would assume that in your mind, when you found a better place or you found something that would contribute to your livelihood, in your mind, when a situation of conflict such as this arises, it is that it will end.
Yeah.
It will end and we will go back to
yes.
What, so why should I jeopardize what could happen later by leaving only for things to then die down and I can go back to work?
Yep.
Do you see? So I think you're caught in a very difficult situation. And that could be the fear for a lot that, okay, so the fear, we could be here thinking that the fear is for fear of safety, your life. But the fear is, could be, if I leave, how am I sure that I'll be able to come back and continue my work?
These are the considerations.
There are many considerations.
Some of them are saying that they still owe their employer because the employer facilitated their travel there. Right? So their contract says that for the first X number of days, you will be working to repay me for what I facilitated you to come here with. Now, if I owe my employer then has also now impounded and is holding on to my passport, I can't leave. It means I also have worked for this long. I haven't started making my money. I have been making money to repay the employer. So if you tell me, okay, ndege ni ya free, ni sawa. Utarudishwa nyumbani na serikali, ni sawa. Once you land at JKIA, then what? You don't even have money to go back to Kisii.
Yes, you'll be back and then?
Those are the questions. Let's take a break. It's 24 minutes to 9. We're saying we are focusing on Lebanon, Kenyans who are stranded in Lebanon. The government has said, all right, we are actually giving you until the 12th of October. Please, we'd like to support Kenyans to come back home. Until the 12th of October, register. And they give very many links and numbers and say, register. If you have a relative here who has a relative in Lebanon, help them to register. And then the question is, why are they not registering?
They're not registering.
26,000 Kenyans in Lebanon. 26,000. And those are the ones that are known.
Yeah.
So how many more are there? What is the State Department for Diaspora Affairs going to do? We'll be talking to the PS shortly.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
Unbeatable deals at Pepino's Pizza, Kimathi Street. Get this. 2 large pizzas plus a 1.25-liter soda for just 1,500 Kenya shillings, or 2 medium pizzas and a 1.25-liter soda for just 1,200 Kenya shillings. Available every Tuesday and Thursday. Chicken lovers, we got you covered too. Enjoy 2 crispy chicken pieces, chips, and a 350 ml soda for just 500 shillings. Call 0728-261-875 or order online at pepinospizza.co.ke. Join us for mouth-watering treats all month long. Pepino's Pizza at 8.
Hii September, endelea kufurahia na Star Times. Renew your subscription today on the basic bouquet for 750 shillings for aerial decoders. Enjoy lots of fun and adventures on our kiddie channels. Let your favorite stars make your heart flutter on our world-class telenovelas. Renew your subscription on the Smart Bouquet for 1,199 shillings for satellite decoders for unmissable football action on the Carabao Cup, Saudi League, La Liga, and the Bundesliga. Music, movies, documentaries, and lifestyle channels. Download Star Times on app today on Google Play Store or the Apple Store to never miss a moment of your favorite shows. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
If a lion shows you its teeth, it doesn't mean it likes you.
It doesn't mean it likes you. It won't start. A liar calls as witness one who is either dead or far away. Say it in Kiswahili.
Ben low, nin inte, nin there, you markati kadikta. You know this character called liar. He has disturbed people. So when you tell him who are your witnesses, he will take you to a place where it is difficult to verify.
For someone like me who sweats a lot, I cannot survive there. Sweating is biblical. Good. And you must blame it on Adam, not me. Because Adam messed up and he was told, no, you fellow, you, by the sweat of your brow, thou shalt eat.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
The weather with SpiceFM.
Sunny conditions in Nairobi this morning. We'll see highs of 26 and coming down to lows of 15 today. We're looking into a sunny Nakuru at 16 with highs of 26 and highs of 26 and lows of 14 in Nyeri. It's sunny at 17 in Eldoret with highs of 25, and we'll see highs of 30 in Mombasa, where it's sunny at 26. 28 and sunny in Malindi with highs of 31 and lows of 24, and at 23 it is sunny in Kisumu with highs of 31. Kakamega at 20 is sunny with highs of 29, and Kampala partly sunny at 22 going to highs of 29 and lows of 17. Dar es Salaam at 26 is sunny with highs of 30 and lows of 24, and into a sunny Johannesburg at 8 we'll see highs of 22. Mogadishu is sunny at 29 with highs of 31, and the rains continue in Addis Ababa at 15 with highs of 21 and lows of 12. It's partly sunny at 26 in Lagos with highs of 29, and at 24 it's mostly cloudy in Kinshasa with highs of 32 and lows of 24.
Welcome to SpiceFM, the best exclusive radio station bringing you the best mix of the best music ever.
All right, continues in the city this morning. Taking a quick look at what's happening, what may have changed. Traffic is not too terrible this Friday. Outer Ring, some traffic here and there. And we're also looking at Jogo Road with traffic that gets out towards Landis, which is starting to pack up as you get towards the Kamkunji roundabout. It's busy at Survey on the Thika Superhighway. And who's this? This is Wangari Maathai coming in from that junction from Limuru Road and out towards Chiromo. That's busy. Also on Limuru Road coming in from Karura, very busy as well. Gong Road still continues. Let's see what happens through traffic hour. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag the Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Right, what's happening to Kenyans in Lebanon? They are stranded. So you're asking, are we
feeling pain on their behalf? Because when we have one individual whom we've listened to, if we take the view that someone left the country in search of better pastures, you get the impression that whatever we perceive as being a very dangerous situation is not quite how they see it. The bombing and everything notwithstanding, yes,
it's what we hear and we read. And
yes. They who are there may not share the same view with us. Because the question of wanting to return, this is a quest for safety on behalf of our fellow citizens. But our fellow citizens have other issues that they seem to think are pertinent. For instance, okay, come back to Kenya to do what exactly? I left because
of 1, 2, 3.
Yes, exactly. Now this 1, 2, 3, you're telling me to leave it behind, and then what happens? So here you see a balance between what they think or what we seem to assume is an issue that involves their welfare, and they have a completely different perspective on what it is that they think is a priority about their welfare. The job seems to be of greater importance.
Indeed, because if what we are saying is that 26,000 Kenyans who are registered in Lebanon today, that the ministry has said, you know what, come register by the 12th of October and we will get you out. You can come home. If the threat, imminent or otherwise, was so severe, would we not see that number pool would have been filled by now? I would assume so. That if it was that bad and there was word that they were able to reach out, because if they're documented 26,000, then there is a form of communication then between government and themselves, because you're documented. They have your number, they know how they can get you, they've sent out a blast in terms of information, which is what they normally do in times like this. So one would assume that we're already at, 20,000 and something, and folks want to come home if it's that bad.
But have we heard of 20,000 people want to come home?
No.
Have we heard of 10? Have we heard of 5? Have we heard of 500?
This is the thing. It will be interesting because we'll talk to the PS in a minute, but I think we would have seen a greater, faster scramble if it was that way, no?
It would, because, you see, the thing that I have found impressive is the manner in which the government has responded to this matter. Yes. It's one of the situations where you can say the government is on top of this issue.
Listen, this is what the ministry said. Only registered Kenyans will be eligible for evacuation. Any Kenyan who wishes to be evacuated must ensure that their registration is completed before this date, that is the 12th, Monday. The other Monday. Register using the following link, diaspora.go.ke/Lebanon.html, or you can call the following numbers for coordination, and then they give numbers in Lebanon, 2 numbers in Lebanon, and 1 number, which is a Kenyan number. We'll rescue as many Kenyans as need be, even if it means it's the 26,000 of them, then we will bring them home. We are looking for different means because now it's only one airline that they have. But the government is saying, as long as you have registered and you're saying you want to come back home, leave it the rest to us. If it means we get other airlines, whatever it means, as long as you have entered into that registry, we'll bring you home. There are 26,000 of them. Only 1,000 have registered. 100, rather.
Only 100 have registered?
100.
Yes.
Does that not speak volumes?
Unless you want to tell me that all telecommunications or all communication channels, by virtue of the conflict, are down and nobody can be reached?
No. There's the other side. The government is speaking from here.
Yeah.
Those people are in Beirut and other parts of Lebanon.
Yeah.
Are they getting that message?
That's what I'm asking. Are communication channels open?
How are you communicating to
With
the
them?
Kenyans
Yes.
in Lebanon itself?
How are you ensuring they get the message?
How are you making sure they get the message? Because that's what I'm saying. If the situation is so dire that we are hearing that things are actually really bad, because of course you know that there's a large Lebanese population in Nigeria. I'm just giving this as a tie-in example. So we have a lot of friends today who are saying actually how bad it is and spreading messages around saying that, okay, we have family who's affected, 1, 2, 3, my family where my grandfather stays and all of that. So it is a bad situation. So that's why that makes that question that you ask really pertinent. That is the message that is being sent from here, because there are two sides of looking at this. One which we've already brought up, but the other side is if there's a message, if there's a blast that's being sent out, as is the case for MOFA. MOFA does this all the time to say, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, sorry for the abbreviation, but they do this all the time. They'll send out a blast, but what mode, if we are hearing already that communication channels have been disrupted because of this conflict, how then are they being reached? What is the mode that the question is being asked? Again, another question that we can pose and say, how are you reaching these folks?
Have the communication channels been completely disrupted?
No, not completely disrupted. No, that one we know.
So is there mobile telephony?
Yes, there is. In some cases.
Is there data?
There is in some cases.
All right. Now, because we are seeing many Kenyans on social media who are saying they're in Lebanon or they're speaking to their friends who are in Lebanon. There's them being in other countries.
Yes.
And they're saying our friends are stranded. This one that we've just played, she is in Lebanon.
And she's speaking on a phone.
And she's able to speak on a phone.
Yeah.
But she's saying the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, our government has done nothing. Our embassy has done nothing.
So they've not gotten the message.
So she doesn't know what ought to be happening, right? So what is it that ought to be happening?
So this is the thing. So there is a form of communication that's happening because we know that there are people who are in Lebanon who are sending out messages. We know that they can get on the internet because it's internet-based communication. We know that they can pick up a phone and speak to somebody that you can actually check to make sure that folks are okay. So if there's a message that has been sent out, what are the mechanisms that have been used to ensure that the folks on the receiving end have actually heard your message and that they can go to a certain place? Is there a message going from here, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to the consulate in Beirut, for example? Is it then the job of the consulate to then send out the message to other folks and say, okay guys, we know your numbers, we know where you are, this is what we're asking you to do. Come to the consulate, register, give us a call, send an email, do something, and let us know that we need to get you out by the 12th. 12th, by the way, is next week, Saturday. So what happens? And I think this needs to be understood for us to know, because we are not looking at a situation where all communication channels are completely dead. No, people are communicating. So if folks are saying that they've not heard from the government, that they've not heard from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that they've not heard from the representatives at the consulate, then one must ask what method of communication is being employed to make sure that folks who may be in a vulnerable situation have actually been reached. We've already established that, yes, we know that there's some folks who may not want to go, but what about those who do, and how have they been reached if only 100 people have responded to the call?
Let's see if one of them is called Diana Nyaichero, who is in Lebanon. Let's see if we can get her. Diana, can you hear us? Yeah. So Diana, you have been in Lebanon. You're speaking to us from Lebanon. Let's see if we can just connect you online here onto the show. How long have you been in Lebanon?
2 years in how?
3 years now in Lebanon.
Yeah.
How far? Which part of Lebanon are you in?
I'm in South.
Where is that?
South Lebanon.
In the south.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how the situation is like for you right now, as you this week, for example?
The situation is not good because the Israel are just bombing, so we can't move out, we can't go anywhere, we just stay in the house. So because we've got nowhere to go, maybe you go somewhere and they bomb, so the best thing we do is just to stay inside.
What do you mean by staying inside? Are you living in an estate, in a farm? What kind of neighborhood are you in?
Like we are staying in an apartment.
So it's a town or a city?
So it's a town.
Okay. And then, so how is it like in that apartment? How many houses in your estimation?
There are many houses. They are not very far away. Like they are maybe in an apartment. Like we have three houses each near. Then the other one same like that way.
Okay. Has anybody in that neighborhood moved out?
No.
So everybody is still within the neighborhood. All the neighbors, as far as you can see, the neighbors are still there. Nobody has moved out.
Yeah, but there's some people who have left. You know, if they have houses in other places, they go. But if the family you're staying with, they don't have houses in other place, you just have to stay because you can't move to any place by yourself.
Okay. And then, would you like to leave, Diana?
No, for me, I just want to come home because the situation is not good. Like, you know, the moment you see people dying, the moment you see some buildings are being burned, you just have to be worried. What's going to happen next? Or next, where they're going to do that? So, it's not good.
Are you aware that the government wants people to register?
Yeah, they send us. We have been given the link to register. We already registered, and they say the deadline will be on 12th. So, we're just hoping and praying for the best for our safety.
How did you get the link?
We've got some groups, so they shared through the groups, so that's where we found the link.
Okay. In that group, how many Kenyans are in that group? Are they all in Lebanon?
There are many, so I can't be specific, but there are many.
Are they all in Lebanon?
Yeah, we are in Lebanon all.
And what are they saying, the others in the group? Do they all want to leave?
Yeah, everyone wants to leave. We want to go to back home.
City will ask you a question.
The government asked those who wish to leave to register. Have you registered?
Yeah.
And are you in touch with other people who are in Lebanon? And do you know if those whom you are in touch with have also registered?
Yeah, everyone has already registered. So far, I think everyone has registered through the link.
Mm-hmm. And when you register, what do you get? Do you get a confirmation message saying that your information is now here, we'll get in touch with you?
Yeah, they just say when you just fill that link, at the end they say thank you. Yeah. And the message is sent successful. I think that's the thing they always say.
And so there's nothing else. There's no other communication saying, we will get back, we'll get in touch with you in 2 days, in 3 days, anything?
No.
Okay. So there's no confirmation, Diana, in terms of after you've registered on the link, there's no confirmation as to when government might say, okay, come to a particular place, or we will then begin to bring people home on a particular date. You do not know?
Honestly, no.
In the group, has anybody asked what happens next? So after people have all registered?
Okay, we always ask what is going to happen next. But for us, we always say, since they say the deadline is on 12th, so we are just waiting on that 12th, what will happen next? Because after filling the link, you cannot ask any question. You can't get back to them. So the best thing is just to wait on until that 12th, they say.
Okay. Diana, there's also a number that they've given, a number for Lebanon. Do you know it?
The number for the consulate?
Yes.
Okay, for the consulate, most of the time we text, he doesn't reply. Maybe on the other one that he gave for Kuwait, we text them and they get us back to the consulate, and the consulate doesn't respond.
And if you try calling that number?
No. Okay, there's a message he sent that he said we should not call. So the only thing we can do is to just send a message. So the message that we're being sent, it's being ignored anyway. He doesn't respond. So when we get back to the Kuwait number that they gave us, they send us back to the consulate. So that is it.
Okay. Is anybody from the government in that group, of the WhatsApp group of Kenyans?
There is a lady that she calls herself the Proud African Mom. I think that's the one who gave us the link. So I think that she's the one who is in touch with someone, I think, in Kenya.
So she's the one who's organizing your group?
Yeah.
But as far as you know, you don't know whether she is in contact directly with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs here.
Yeah, we don't know. We are not sure about that, but she's the one who gave us the link.
Okay. Diana, you say you've been there for 3 years.
Yeah.
Is it with the same employer?
No, not with the same employer. With the same employer, I worked for 1 year and 6 months. Then I went back to the consulate. Then the consulate... Okay, when the consulate told me I wanted to go back home because I had issues, so the office said no. So I had to go and work back again.
What issues did you have? Was it medical issues?
Yeah, medical issues. So
why did the consulate tell you cannot come home?
Because when my first employer said I cannot, because she wanted me to pay the money, the $2,000. So I went back to my agent's Kenya office. I called them and they said they cannot help. I came back to my agent in Lebanon. So they did not accept, they did not allow me. I talked to the consulate and the consulate told me, okay, you will go home. He kept me like for 10 months waiting without working, just staying in the shelter, and told me like, you will go back home after. So I stayed there for 10 months without help. Then I decided, I told him, okay, no, I cannot stay for all this long. If I cannot go home, then let me work.
I want to ask you a final question before we let you go for a bit. How did you go to Lebanon? Just take us through the journey. How did you know about the work in Lebanon? Who connected you? How did you end up in Lebanon? And how did you end up owing your employer?
Okay, after my high school, I was to go to the university, but I didn't not go because there was not enough money. So my mom told me, I've got someone, I heard about someone who's taking people outside the country. You can go and then come back and finish school. So I said, it's okay. Then he connected me, her friend connected me to the agent. The agent processed for me. Then I came to Lebanon.
How much did you pay? How much did you pay anything?
Yeah, I paid for my passport and for my medical bills.
Okay. And then the agent paid for your ticket?
No, my employer paid for the ticket. The agent did not, because the employers, I think she sent some money, then they paid for my ticket to travel.
Okay. And so that's the amount that you now owe the employer?
Yeah.
In how long are you supposed to repay the money?
I don't know exactly.
Do you know how much you've paid so far?
I think I'm done with it because the first 3 months, when we come to Lebanon, for the first 3 months, they don't pay us. They always say that that's for testing. So I think those are the money that they always cut.
I see. Diana, we'll try and get in touch with the PS for Diaspora Affairs, and we may try call you back so that you can speak to her directly and you tell her what you're going through and what you've undergone even after registering. So thank you for speaking to us, but we'll call you back shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. It's 9 a.m. We've been talking to Diana Nyachero. She's a 20-year-old who is in Lebanon, working in Lebanon. We'll be back speaking to more of them. It's 9 a.m.
It's now 9 o'clock with Safaricom. Go monthly with an all-in-one bundle and enjoy convenience and value with Safaricom. For just 2,000 bob a month, enjoy 17 GB data, 1,000 minutes, 2,000 SMSs, and free WhatsApp. Go monthly. Dial star 544 hash and select Go monthly. Safaricom is for you.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. The public participation exercise of the impeachment motion against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is ongoing across the country. In Nairobi, following this exercise at Mombasa of Kenya, where we are pitching tent. But I want to talk to Clement Masombo, a Nyeri-based reporter, for more now. Good morning, Masombo. The public participation exercise is ongoing across the country, and in Nyeri, the backyard of DP Rigathi Gachagua, has seen locals come out to give their views in huge numbers. What's the mood like? But most importantly, what are the residents saying, Masombo?
Well, good morning to you. And in Nyeri, people are still walking into this venue, which is the Nyeri Cultural Hall. This will be the venue for today's public participation for the entire county. Right now, I want to speak to some of those who have arrived here to give their views on what they think about the whole motion. Asante sana, tuanze na jina lako, tueleze unaitwa nani, umetoka sehemu gani ya Nyeri na umefika hapa kutoa maoni yako. Unasemaje kuhusu hii hoja kumng'atua mamlakani Rigathi Gachagua?
Mimi nimekuja sababu nimesikia my deputy president is being impeached. Na vile nilimvotia, I have come to fight for my vote. Juu mimi nilimvotia. Inakuwa atiangatuliwe, basi watu wakuje tumungatue kama tuko na votes. Lakini si watu wakae kando wamungatue. Because wanasema ko biased, wakiwa wawili they have to sit down. Waone hii mambo ya okay, unajua huwezi kuja uniambie sema hivi alafu niseme si niko na maoni yangu, kama vile tu umeniambia nistroe maoni yangu, si ndio? Kwa hivyo hakuna heshima amekosea rais, sababu hata rais hajatuambia amemkosea heshima.
We shall be touching base with Masombo across the days. He gives us that report, including other reporters stationed across the country on the ongoing public participation exercise. But key to note is Mombasa residents giving their views at the Tononoka Social Hall. Kwale residents will be at the Kwale Cultural Center. Kilifi residents will be giving their views at the Coastal Development Authority Social Hall. But if you are unable to present your views physically, you can do so via email through impeachment@parliament.go.ke before Saturday, October 5th, which is tomorrow. Still on a related matter, Senate Speaker Mason King has cautioned senators against making comments about the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. King noted that the matter may be referred to the Senate for consideration and determination in accordance with Article 145 and 150 of the Constitution. King made the remarks in a communication to the House following a motion that has been filed in the National Assembly on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Now, the immunization exercise against polio is ongoing across several counties, with parents being encouraged to ensure that their children under the ages of 10 receive the vaccine. Dr. Sultani Matendechero is the Deputy Director of Health Services in the country.
This campaign aims to vaccinate 3,843,275 children. We urge all parents and caregivers in these areas to ensure that their children receive the life-saving 2 drops of polio vaccine. These vaccines are tested safe and effective.
He says that they are looking to give the vaccine to more than 3.8 million children in 9 counties, while saying that cases of polio have decreased by more than 99% since 1988.
This campaign will cover 9 high-risk counties, including Nairobi and 3 neighboring counties, as well as 5 counties in the western region. Children under 10 years of age are particularly susceptible due to their developing immune system. It is encouraged to note that due to the concerted efforts globally, polio cases have decreased by over 99%.
Still on matters health, and 10 people are known to have contracted the mpox virus in the country after the Ministry of Health confirmed 1 more case in Kericho County. The cases are now spread across 10 counties, including Nakuru, Taita Taveta, Busia, Nairobi, Mombasa, Makueni, Kajiado, and Bungoma. And criminal investigation officers in Nyeri are investigating a mysterious heinous murder act of a mother and her 2 daughters. Now, Nyeri North DCC Simon Osumba confirmed to the press that 3 bodies, which were initially identified, were later moved to the mortuary after preliminary investigations by DCI officers positively identified them and confirmed that they belonged to the same family. This is News. I'm Dennis Asha. Good morning.
.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Yeah. We were coming to the end of traffic hour, and then folks decided that they're going to Limuru Road because it's crazy. As you come through towards Muthaiga, that's all a huge mess. And then also coming in from James Gishoro, crossing over the Red Hill Link Road, in and outbound traffic from Kuna Road, then finding its way towards Lower Kabete out towards Spring Valley is crazy. It is Friday, not Saturday. Folks are not supposed to wake up late on Friday. What's happening? Okay, Ring Road Kileleshwa is also pretty busy, and it's going all the way through towards Kikambala Road, Oloitoktok, Gitanga Road, and whatever traffic is coming in from Kingara Road is a mess. Langata Road, a bit crazy, but okay. As you get towards Rilo Dinga Way, that's slowing down some. And then also as you come in from Jogo Road leading towards Landis, that is also pretty busy. The Thika Superhighway with traffic from Survey all the way through towards the entrance of Muranga Road is busy still. All right, we're coming out of traffic hour soon. Let's see what happens when we do. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag the Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
8 minutes after 9. How are you doing? We're on to the final hour of the situation. Hey, sauti inaenda.
Okay, try again.
Wait. I should stop talking.
And then?
Hey. So we are giving away 3,000 shillings.
Yes.
Courtesy of Safaricom Home Fiber. What does one need to do to win 3,000 bob?
Well, you need to make sure at least, first of all, either upgraded the package that you currently have or that you have applied for the installation of a totally new package so that you can get internet in your home. Okay? So, how do you do that? You dial star from your mobile, star 400 hash, and you get to Safaricom Home Fiber, and then you'll see the different packages that are available, whether you're going bronze, whether you're going silver, whether you're going gold, platinum, or diamond. Abby, those are the 5 that are available for you at different speeds, of course, for different costs. First of all, it's 2,999 shillings per month. So you do that, you get connected to fantastic speeds, you get connected to a seamless connection, obviously being able to stream and do your meetings and everything at home. Now, if you want to win the 3,000 bob, what you need to do, send us a screenshot of your upgrade of your package or your payment of the same. Send us one on our socials, SpiceFM KE, and you could win 3,000 shillings for you to now pay for another month.
Just like that.
Yes.
Let me tell you about the speeds, okay? The lowest price is 2,999, but it has very good speeds because previously it was 10 Mbps, now it's 15 Mbps. The next one is a silver one, which is 4,100. It was previously 20 Mbps, it's now 30 Mbps. And with this, you can opt in to the Secure Net. Secure Net is where you decide to control internet access for the various members in the household. Okay, people who are logging onto the same Wi-Fi or to the same router. Okay. Then there's a gold one. Gold is 6,299. It was previously 40 Mbps. Safaricom has decided, let's ramp this thing up. It's now 80 Mbps. Can you imagine? From 40 to 80 Mbps. 6,299. With 80 Mbps, basically you're running a small mini operation, or you have an entire family of a homestead with extended family members. Many gadgets can be logged on at the same time. And there again, you have Secure Net comes in guaranteed. So it means that you can control what each gadget can access in terms of the places that it can visit. That's for security purposes, especially for the young ones. The Diamond package, 12,499. It was previously 100 Mbps. It's now 500 Mbps.
What can you not do?
Jesus. 12,500 only. 500 Mbps.
What can you not do? And it's not like 500 Mbps in the morning and then it disappears and you find it. No, it's through and through.
It's through and through.
Yeah.
It's through and through. So just pay, send us your screenshot, and you stand a chance of winning 3,000 shillings. There's also 2,500 that will be given to somebody today, courtesy of Loop. And what's the deal with Loop, City?
Well, the deal with Loop is lifestyle and how you wish to make it better. That is, of course, if you have a lifestyle and you wish to make it better. Yes. And all that is involved is in you downloading an app and finding the information there. Now, lifestyle, finances, how it is you finance that lifestyle, how it is that you organize your life, how it is that you organize payments, how it is that you do what you do on a daily basis. Now, that app, the Loop app, will bring all these things under one roof. Or in one basket. Now it's up to you to determine how best you want to utilize all the opportunities that are available to you.
With this thing, you can basically do very many things. You can send money onto mobile money. You can send money bank transfer. You can send money. Let me just show you. Send money. You can send money to Loop, to M-Pesa, to PesaLink, to Airtel Money. You can send money to bank, to whichever bank, Loop, NCBA, PesaLink, EFT, RTGS, or to a Visa card. Or you can even send money to many via Loop. Now, somebody has shown us the kind of transactions that they've been doing, and they have been sending money to M-Pesa to various numbers. They've received money in their account, and we are deciding this is the one. This one is the one that Asha, our premium AI, has decided to award this morning. 2,500. Brian Kiprotich Chemueno, congratulations. 2,500 is getting into your account. Utasikia kaching, utasikia Loop yako imefanya bzz. It is money that has come in. Money that has come in. Okay, so do the one and then you'll keep receiving a lot more money. City, please remind us the proverb.
Yes, this is our final proverb from the Republic of the Gambia. Yes. A leopard that visits you, those of you who are in the habit of having leopards visit them, is the one that kills you.
A leopard that visits you is the one that kills you. Be very careful.
Be extremely careful. A leopard is not a domestic animal.
No matter how hard you try.
It doesn't matter what you do.
You can put a collar on it, you can put a sweater on it.
Even give it a name.
Sure.
And some leopards are actually human beings.
Yes.
So be very sharp to identify a human or a human leopard.
Or a leopard masquerading as a human. And remember, that very leopard that visits you,
it will
eat you. Yes.
Itakula wewe. Our conversation continues. Lebanon. What's the state of the Kenyans who are stranded in Lebanon? want to speak to somebody else. Her name is Paris, to hear the story. Paris, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you for speaking to us, Paris. How are you today?
I'm doing fine.
Where are you in Lebanon?
Though we have not slept. We are right now we've moved in the mountain, but we have not slept the whole night.
Please, let's start from the beginning. In which part of Lebanon are you?
Yes. I was in South Lebanon. And when the bombing started, we moved to Beirut. Again, we were not very lucky. Our house got bombed. Both in Beirut and in South Lebanon. In South Lebanon.
Okay.
We came to Beirut and our house was bombed also. Now we moved to my boss's relative in Tripoli. Again, it was bombed, and now we are in the mountain.
When you say a house was bombed, take us through that. Where were you? Was it bombed during the day, at night? Where were you? Which part of the house were you in?
In South Lebanon, it was bombed during the day, actually at 1. That day, I was in the rooftop drying clothes, and it came on our house. But we moved without anything. We just moved the way we were. All our stuffs, they got trapped in there.
So
we went to our
who did you
bosses
move with?
With my boss.
Is it a family or is it?
With my madam, we moved with my, yes.
Okay. So, Paris, if I may ask you, when you say you're in the mountain, what does that mean?
In Lebanon, there are mountains. Mountains are, people got houses here. Yeah, so we came here. This is where we're staying, but it's not my madam's house. It's a relative's house.
Okay, so there are houses at the mountain side, is what you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
How many are you in the household?
My God, we are almost 20.
The household
And
has
I
always
am
had
the
20
only
people.
person who is working, yes.
So who are the others?
Their families, they are relatives. They're just running from the places that they are bombing, so they're just coming and staying together.
Okay. Now you told us that you haven't slept tonight.
Yes, we have not slept at all. Since 9, there have been so much bombing here in Lebanon, and there was one at 12 which was very intense.
Has it destroyed other homes?
Yeah, sure, yes.
How long have you been working in Lebanon? When did you move there?
Back in 2022.
So you've been there for 2 years now.
July. Yes, this is my third year here.
Is it this? Are you working for the same employer that you started working with?
No, this is my second employer. My sponsor who brought me here, we had our differences in the beginning of this year, and I was rescued by the consulate of Lebanon, and I went and I was put in a shelter for 2 months with nothing, without phone. Phone I was only given for 2 days in a week for 15 minutes to speak with my family. It took 2 months before my employer said that he cannot give me he cannot make me travel back to the country. I have to pay $2,000 so that I can go back because I did not finish my contract. And that it made me not travel back to the country. Since I am the breadwinner of my family, I am a parent, I am a mother of 2, I'm their I'm the one who provides everything for my kids. I couldn't provide while I was in the shelter. So I asked my consulate to release me to come outside and work so that at least I can give my kids a basic needs. That's how I got out of the shelter and I came outside. I came outside and I found this family. I've been working for them. This is my 5th month with them since I got out of the shelter.
Are you still repaying the first
employer? It has been good. Yes.
Are you still repaying the first employer?
I'm not paying her. I cannot be able to pay her the money that you're getting here. Even those $2,000, I've never seen them with my eyes. Like I've never collected them together. And my employer is not, she doesn't want to give me my documents to come back to the country. And I pay the $2,000.
Which employer? The second employer or the first employer?
The first employer.
So can I, Paris, if I may ask you, how then were you able to begin work with the second employer if your documentation remained with the first employer, or was that an arrangement that you made locally?
No, it's not an arrangement. When I left the shelter, you can get job without papers here.
Okay.
You can, but it's very risky also. Okay. I was just lucky to find a good family whereby they accommodated me and they gave me a job.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you then about the communication that has been sent by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, one would assume. Have you gotten any word about that particular communication?
Not at all. We've filled the that was shared. I personally, I filled everything, and at the end, just told me, yes.
But you got the link, this link that everybody was getting. Did you get that link, that initial communication? Did you receive it?
Yes, I got it.
Okay, so you're at the place where a lot of people are today, where they are waiting for the next communication.
Yes, we're waiting for the next communication. But also, I'd like to ask, what about that Kenyan that was displaced and did not even take her phone with her? That not even was she's not able to fill the link. What about that Kenyan? What about that Kenyan who is outside? She has her phone, but she doesn't have the Wi-Fi connection. How is she going to be rescued? How is she going to get the link? How are you going to reach her?
Okay, I mean, those are valid questions, Paris. They are. I want to ask you something, though, about your particular case. I'm still on your documentation. Because let us say now that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in conjunction with the consulate now, is rounding up people who've said they want to go back home. How would you travel if your documentation, I'm assuming it's your passport for travel, that is still with your first employer?
Yes, please.
How would you travel?
Yes. After I got outside, I had a meeting with our consulate, and he told me that if I want to travel back home, I have to fill in papers. Again, I did in the consulate's office, and I was told it's going to take 3 to 4 months for me to be able to come back to the country. But with this, the consulate told me this form that I'm going to fill, at first I'll pay $60.
$60?
$60, yes, at first. The second one, he's going to book an appointment for me for general security, where I will go and I'll be interrogated. There, I'm going to pay $150. For $150, just to go to the general security. From there, I'm going to pay penalty of the. I've stayed now. They're counting. I'm in Lebanon for 3 years now. For every year, I'm going to pay $150 for every year, a penalty. This one for 3 years, it's $450. $150. Add these $150 that the consulate managed to give me
General Security.
an appointment to General Security, yes. And again, add these $60 that I paid when I was nilikuwa najaza form. Now tell me, all this money, where am I going to find it? Whereby I'm only paid $250. I have family back home. I will need to feed them. I need to do everything for them. Honestly, I don't have money, and this is what keeping us here. This is what keeping us here. We cannot travel because when you start your traveling process, it needs a lot of money, whereby we don't have all this money.
So now, when you register with via the link that was shared by the government, are you required to input your details, your passport number and all?
Yes.
And is there anywhere where you
luckily indicate? I have my passport number with me, luckily.
Okay.
Is there anywhere where you indicate that you don't have your passport with you?
No, if you don't have your passport with you, if you don't have a passport number, it's not going. You cannot submit it.
Okay, you have the number.
If you leave any,
your case, you have the number, but you don't have the passport physically.
Yes, I have it.
Paris, just stay on the line. What we want to do is link you up with the Principal Secretary for Diaspora Affairs in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. She's joining us on the line. Rosalind Kathure Njogu.
Yes.
PS, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Latiff. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for speaking to us this morning. We are talking to Kenyans who are in Lebanon, and we know that you've been making efforts to reach out to them, asking them to register, and you've given them even a deadline for the 12th of October. Register so that you know how to organize their logistics and transportation back home. On the line with us from south of Lebanon is Paris Kinodia, who's been there since late 2022. She's in her third year now. She's a mother of two. She's there. She's been earning to send money back home. She's with her second employer. This is not her sponsor. So there was a disagreement with her sponsor, and the consulate in Beirut helped to get her out of there into a shelter home. But then she left the shelter home and got this other job with the second employer. She's saying, for example, tonight they haven't slept. So just listen to her story, PS, and then we see how you can guide her into getting support and communicating with the others. So Paris, this is the PS. Just start by introducing yourself and telling her how long you've been there and how the night has been tonight for you.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning, Paris.
My name's Paris Kinodia.
Paris, go ahead. Just tell her she already has the brief of how your life has been. I wanted to paint a picture for her of, for example, the houses that you've told us before she got on the call that you've had to move houses 3 times. Where are you now?
Yeah.
What's the situation like?
Yes. Okay. Good morning. This is Paris Kinodia. I've been working in Lebanon this is my 3rd year. I came here with my first employer, and we had our differences, and I was rescued by the consulate. I was put in a shelter, and I left the shelter for 2 months, and I left the shelter because I couldn't stay there anymore because of I wasn't able to provide for my family. So that's the reason why I moved out. I was lucky when I moved out. I went to South Lebanon. I got another employer there, and I've been staying with this employer. This is our 5th month together. When the war started, I really caught our house. It was the 2nd day of bombing in South Lebanon. Our house was bombed, like it moved into ashes, almost to ashes, but we were lucky to get out, but we got out without anything. I was lucky my boss came with me to Beirut, and when we came to Beirut, our house also, it got bombed. And we moved to another relative of hers to Tripoli, a place called Tripoli. Also there, our house was bombed. Again, we moved here where we are.
You've been to three houses that have been bombed?
Yes.
I'm very sorry.
Now we moved to the mountains, and here also we have not slept at night. Yesterday at night it was very bad. There was a lot of bombing, and there was one at 12 that was very intense. It was very intense. It was a big one. Compared to the other one that killed, allegedly they're saying that it killed the leader of Hezbollah. This one was very big.
So now, Paris.
Yes.
Have you registered via the link that has been provided by the government?
The link that was shared, we are registering, and but when at the end it's not giving us any. After you register, you asked for your names, for your gender, and for your passport number and the place that you are. After that, when you submit all that and you send it, it's not giving you a way forward. It's just like that.
I understand. Right. So firstly, Paris, let me say I'm really sorry about the situation that you've gone through. It is very clear that you've seen more horrible things happening in the space of a very short time than many people will live through. I'm sorry for that trauma, and I am sure at some point we're going to be able to get into that and address it. To get to the situation and just say that we're very concerned for Kenyans, and this is why we are mounting an evacuation. I hear you about the information that we are giving on our link when you register. That once you've registered, it's not giving you a way forward or giving an indication. We've made a couple of changes in response to that. One, we've now the information is available both in English and Kiswahili, because we found out that in some places we were having trouble with accessibility for people who might not be have as much capacity to read and understand English as Kiswahili. So, like with many of government documents, we now have the link available both in English and kwa lugha ya Kiswahili, so that it's easier to use. Secondly, starting today, through the various contacts that you've registered, you'll be able to receive communication that basically keeps you informed on where we are, what is happening, and how to proceed. For the Kenyans who've already been evacuated, of course, once they signed up and they were clear and ready to travel, then we were able to communicate and tell them, this is the day you're traveling, these are your tickets, and so on, and they've been able to move. Things have changed a little bit from what you're telling me. As you can hear, with the intensifying activity, a number of things have changed, including the ways through which we can evacuate people. Flights have reduced. The number of airlines that are now flying into Beirut have reduced significantly. And as at yesterday, I believe, or 2 days ago, maybe just Middle East Airlines was flying and reduced numbers of flights. So even our plans have needed to change. And this is why we've been insisting that people need to register, and we were asking people to register early, so that we are able to move while more airlines were available, while more flights were available, and so on. And that's what we've been trying to do. But this is not for you to despair, because it is our intention to get every Kenyan who wants to get out. We are also aware that there are Kenyans who do not want to leave. And so we are not forcing anybody to go, but they will have to make the decision that they don't want to go. But we do need your details. Also to say, I hope, Paris, that you have your passport information and so on, but to also confirm that part of the information we collect is to know whether somebody has a passport or not. So that if they don't have a passport, we prepare emergency travel documents, which is a big part of what our consulate is doing. So when we collect the information about, do you have a passport, or what is your passport number, and that stuff, it helps us figure out. We also ask questions about people's health and concerns. For example, one of the questions we have there is whether somebody is pregnant. Because if someone is pregnant, then of course we prioritize them, so that they are among the first people to leave, because we have to move people in batches. So my message to you, Paris, and I really hope you can pass this on to other Kenyans you're in touch with, is that here at home, people are working 24 hours a day to make sure that Kenyans are safe. We have the hotline is available 24 hours a day. We're making sure that we can respond as quickly as we can. That's number one. The message I want you to understand is that the government of Kenya cares. And personally, this is my most important task at the moment, to make sure that 26,000 plus Kenyans who are in Lebanon can be rescued safely. So
Yes.
this is what I am telling you.
Unfortunately,
But the third, Latiff, you've lost me, or I've lost you?
No, we've lost Paris, but we also have another Kenyan who's in Lebanon who's on the line.
Let me say this just in case. 1 second before I speak to Diana. Let me just say this, because even though the line might be cut off, she might be able to see it or hear you on online. Just to say that please pass the information on to others. It is imperative that they register. If they're having trouble with any information on the link, we need to know that so that we can improve it. We've gotten some feedback, we've improved it, we are happy to keep improving, but we want Kenyans not to be sidetracked by other information and so on. They register, we're going to evacuate them at GOK's cost.
Okay. So on the line is Diana. We had spoken to Diana earlier before we got to Paris on the line. And just like Paris, Diana also says that she has registered with a link, but she didn't get any further information. Diana, hello.
Hello.
So on the line, Diana, is the PS Rosalind Kathure-Njogu. She's a Principal Secretary for Diaspora Affairs. She's the one who's coordinating evacuation of Kenyans in Lebanon and calling on you all to register. So you had told us earlier that you registered, but you have not received any more information since then.
Yeah.
And PS, you have just been saying that now you have improved the platform, that you're able now to reach out to the people who registered with more information.
Yes. Hi, Diana, and thank you for reaching out as well. Yes, indeed, we understand, and this is also one of the concerns, Latiff and Diana, that came up, that Kenyans are registering, but now they're nervous because you've registered. We've told you to stay tuned, and we are not sending you information. We understand that, and we are doing that now. Okay, so you can expect to see communication regularly from us that gives you an indication of, what movement looks like, when you would be evacuated, what you need to do, and so on. So that regular communication is coming, and we appreciate the feedback that this was causing people anxiety to register and not get information. But also just to say that we are committed to every Kenyan that is in distress. So please, for those who have not registered or who are not in touch with us, it is imperative that they do that.
P.S. I needed to ask you, but for some information, this is Ndu.
Hi, Ndu.
Hi. What mode or method of communication are we using to reach? Because from what we understand, that there are people all over the place. There are people who may not have some method of communication. There are those who might. What method is that information that's coming directly from the consulate in Beirut, or is there another channel that's being used?
So, excellent question. Various channels. So for those who've registered, they have either left us with an email address or a phone number, which allow us then to message them directly. But the embassy, we serve Lebanon from Kenya Embassy in Kuwait, but we have an honorary consul in Beirut. Mm-hmm. So from messaging from the honorary consulate and messaging from Kenya Embassy in Kuwait and from us here in Nairobi, that is how we are able to get through to Kenyans. There are several WhatsApp groups in which we have ability to communicate directly to Kenyans living in Lebanon. We are doing that. Mm-hmm. We are making sure that leaders and conveners are also sending information through on the various WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, and then the direct communication as I have indicated. Of course, as we always insist, if somebody is available on social media, and many are, actually most are, then on our various social media channels for diaspora, so at diaspora_KE, on our Twitter, on our Facebook, on our TikTok, on our Instagram, I have a sense I'm forgetting one, on Threads, and even on our website. All of that information is available. But of course, there is also the work that media houses and shows like yours do, which is basically to help us get that information out. So it's really an all-out.
Sure. In terms of information, I mean, I know, like you said, we're looking at preliminary and we're looking at reduced numbers for flights with just Middle Eastern airlines flying now. But do you have an idea in terms of timing? I mean, are you waiting for a certain number of folks to register and then you say we are moving on a certain day? What is happening with that?
You can't afford to do that in an evacuation. You move people as they become, as you batch them, right? So again, part of my frustration is this: that when we had more capacity to move, when there were more airlines flying and so on, Kenyans did not register. It would have been much easier, faster, cheaper, safer to have moved more of them then, but they did not register. But this is where we are now, and we're dealing with what we have. Our evacuation plan also considers the fact that Kenyans are going to do the Kenyan thing and register the last minute. So we are using whatever flights are available, but we are also considering non-air means of evacuation.
Okay. Diana, do you have any question you'd like to ask the PS, Diana?
Yeah.
Speak to her.
Okay, for me, I can just say, when we have been given the link, we've been told to wait until maybe 12. And after that, we don't know maybe it will happen or not. And the one who is delivering the message, we don't know if she's delivering the correct thing or not.
So there's an issue here.
Let me try and understand.
The two issues here, as we understand, is number one, that loop. So once they register, not getting information, which you've addressed shortly, but also, like Diana had told us earlier, she's in a WhatsApp group. But we were asking her, is there any official person who's joined that group to give you updates? And she says she doesn't know the people in the group, so she doesn't know whether the information being shared in the group is all trustworthy.
Okay, so I think those are good questions, especially because we see a lot of fake news also traveling, and so it's important actually to make sure that the information that you're receiving is valid information, and that's why we insist partly on following our social media platforms, because there that what we are giving you has the coat of arms. It is legit information. So if I am able to get onto WhatsApp, I can also sign up to the State Department's WhatsApp channel, which then brings news straight to your phone, and it's able to get to you. So that is available. Number one, we are happy. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we are happy to keep sharing those and tell you which numbers can be trusted to give information. But please remember that you can always fact check that information with us on the places that I have said. Secondly, maybe to clarify to Diana that we are not waiting until the 12th of October.
Okay.
The 12th of October is the deadline for registration So what I'm saying is you need to register before the 12th of October. And the reason there is a deadline is this. All evacuations usually have their time, what do you call it now? They're a timed event. Okay, so for example, I have to say that I will evacuate from this date to the other date. And after that, anybody who has not signed up and therefore been taken care of, we will not be able to carry out those evacuations for various reasons. As I said, options continue closing, it becomes impossible, or I can't have people waiting and saying, "Mimi mtanikujia in November," right, or something like that, because it doesn't make sense economically or even as far as security is concerned. So I'm not asking Kenyans to wait until 12th of October to register. I'm saying register now and tell all of your friends, colleagues, family, and enemies to register before the 12th of October, because once we close, we are going to work with just the people who have registered. We are going to assume that those are the only people who want to get out.
How many have registered so far?
I haven't checked the numbers this morning. Maybe 24 hours ago when I checked, there were 3,500 or something like that. I can check shortly and let you know.
So there's still 23,000 who haven't registered.
I'm not sure how many have registered as of this morning. I could check quickly with my team and see what that number is. If there's another question, I can tell you and then get back to you on what that number is.
We were looking at those numbers earlier, and CT was asking, maybe what we are dealing with here is we are actually dealing with a situation where we see, from what we see in the news, we see a dire situation, but not all the Kenyans who are in Lebanon are actually facing a situation where they need or they feel the need to evacuate. CT asked.
That's actually correct. That's actually correct, especially people who are higher up in the mountains and so on might not feel like they need to move. But as you know, Latiff, these situations are rapidly change.
Yes.
If you've heard what the Paris said, they seem to have moved around a lot, and the drama has followed her where she has gone. So these things change, and with the response that we have seen in the region. Now with the response from Iran that we saw the other day, you never quite know how bad things are going to get, and for us, we cannot afford to wait to see how bad things have gotten. Then we respond, because options and pathways close, the worse things get. I also understand, Latiff, that these are livelihoods.
Yep.
And there are people who want to keep working as long as they can. We had a similar situation in Israel when we evacuated Israel, and many Kenyans said, "Look, we understand the risk, but tuko kazini.
We'll take the
tuko
risk.
kazini. We don't want to leave. We are going to put our lives in God's hands, and and hope for the best." And a number of them stayed. Hundreds stayed. So this is also something that we deal with, and that is why the evacuation is purely voluntary for whoever wants to leave. But by staying, one is making that decision.
Madam PS, I have a two-pronged question, and thank you very much for being available to help us in this conversation we are having with our fellow citizens in Lebanon. The numbers we are being given as to the number of Kenyans who are in Lebanon, we say is 26,000. Now, I'm interested, what details do we have about these individuals? Is it where they are, the sort of work they are doing, the regions where they are, and if should they move, do we know or do we have an updated database where all the details pertaining to them is available? I ask this because when you're talking about evacuation, some of these details are sometimes necessary when you're planning to evacuate. That's question number one. Question number two is a simpler one, and probably you'll answer this one first. We had a conversation earlier on with one of our fellow citizens, and something arose. It piqued my mind when she mentioned that her passport is with her employer. Now, I'm taking the view that there are other people in Lebanon whose employer have their passport. Is this an impediment to their traveling back to the country? And if this is it, what is it that the ministry of foreign, or the ministry, the department that you head, what is it that you would do to help evacuate individuals whose passports are not with them and yet they wish to travel back?
Great questions. So two things. Let me start with the second one. It's a quick kill. Passports being withheld by employers is illegal under international law, international conventions. That means that when I go to work, it doesn't matter where I work, nobody's supposed to keep my passport. But it happens, right? We are all aware that this is happening, and we speak with the governments of these countries regularly to sensitize their citizens that this is happening, and we wouldn't want it to continue happening, and this is a problem Kenyans are having. It's one of the things that my colleague Pierce Mwadime and I are always discussing and trying to find ways around and dealing with in our bilateral labor agreements. Now, but that somebody is holding your passport or that you have lost your passport is not an impediment to traveling. And that's not just for Lebanon. It is even for you. If you travel, let's say you go to Ghana and you lose your passport, that does not mean you're going to live in Ghana forever. We provide an emergency travel document. It's called an emergency travel certificate, ETC, that is given by our embassy or consulate, depending on whatever level of representation we have where you are, that will allow you to travel home. It's usually a one-way sort of document. So as soon as you arrive at, let's say, JKIA, you will usually surrender that document because you're home, you don't need it, and then you can process, a new passport and so on. So any person in Lebanon who has lost their passport, whose passport is being held, they do not need to worry about that. You just need to indicate that on the form. And then we will be able to provide emergency travel documents. We have made available enough ETCs to cover the Kenyans who are in Lebanon, assuming that a number of them have lost or do not have their documents to travel. Allow me to repeat that. If you have lost or do not have your passport, speak to us. We will issue an emergency travel certificate.
Okay.
So that you can travel. So that's number two, and that one is easy. Number one is this. Our system and our law requires a voluntary registration. On your passport, if you look at it, it says when you get to a foreign country, you need to register your presence with our embassy or consulate in that country. Kenyans do not do it. They're supposed to, they don't do it. I am sure the last time you were out of the country, you did not register. But you're supposed to, for this very reason. If there is an emergency, we know that you are there and we can send help. But either Kenyans are not aware of this requirement or, wanapuuza. So it's not done. Now, particularly if you're going to travel to Lebanon through a third country, or remember we have had a travel advisory for labor migration against Lebanon for over a year now. But Kenyans have gone anyway. What they have done, a lot of them has been, you don't declare that I'm going to Lebanon when I'm leaving, let's say, JKIA or Mombasa International Airport. You say, I'm going to Ethiopia. So you go to Addis Ababa, then from Addis Ababa you go to Beirut. There is no way for us to know what your final destination is if you don't disclose it. Therefore, we are not able to intervene and tell you, do not go there. If you have chosen, to circumvent the system. You're not telling us you're moving as a labor migrant. You're just saying, naenda kufanya biashara zangu, Egypt or wherever it is. And you have the documentation to travel to Egypt, so you go. So what the information we have and the data we have, including from the government of Lebanon, is that these are the numbers of Kenyans that we have. We have some more information in terms of who might be there, but it is not comprehensive. Unless people register, and specifically now for this evacuation, we might have a large number, a broad number, that kind of information, but we will not be able to tell you Roslyn Jogu is in Beirut working as a teacher in a particular school.
Okay.
Not necessarily. Yeah.
Okay. So, P.S., thank you very much for speaking to us. Diana is still on the line. Just pass one final message 2 Kenyans through
Sure.
Diana. She is in a WhatsApp group, and she can post this in the group.
Thank you. So Diana, please let your sisters and brothers in Lebanon know this. Here in Nairobi, we are ready to support you. We are working hard to get you home. Please register so that we have the information that we need. And if you have questions on the same numbers that we have published, you can reach out and ask questions. The Nairobi number in particular will be able to, if you're not able to reach Beirut or reach Kuwait, you can reach Nairobi, and with 24 hours somebody is able to respond to your questions. Na mkiingia kwa mtandao pia you can get that information. We are also available on WhatsApp, in the WhatsApp channel, to give you news that you can trust. But we are thinking about you. We are trying to get help to you. So please, hold on.
Thank you very much. Thank you, PS Roslyn Jogo, for speaking to us.
Thank you.
Asante sana. Diana Nyachero, who is in Lebanon. Thank you as well for speaking to us, Diana.
Thank you.
So let's take this quick break for this short commercial break, and we will be giving away the 3,000 shillings courtesy of Safaricom Home. Guy. Nimebomewa kwa mkwani kikoromeo.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Seal the deal every day with the all-in-one plan from Safaricom. Get data, minutes, and SMS all-in-one on-the-go monthly bundle plan from Safaricom. Tune into the Situation Room every Monday to Friday as we unpack the all-in-one monthly plan from Safaricom. Safaricom is for you.
Do you want to live out your life with the utmost convenience? A way of life that is empowered with the necessary tools and solutions to live out your life effortlessly? Then wait no more. Download Loop today and enjoy the best mobile money and banking worlds through a simple platform that delivers payment, credit, and saving services, while at the same time offering personalized journeys and deals to complement your interests and needs. Why wait? Just Loop it. Tune in to the Situation Room every morning and Spice Drive from 3 to 7 p.m. every Monday to Friday and learn more about Loop.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
We have a winner.
Safaricom Home Fiber, we do have a winner this morning of a 3,000 bob that you can decide to do what you want with it. Brian Gichobi Wakudhuli. And this is what it looks, this is what he says. Wakudhie. Sorry, please don't be angry. It's not just my work that has improved. My children can now access their online learning platforms without any issues, allowing them to attend virtual classes and complete their assignments with ease. Safaricom Home Fiber has also enhanced our entertainment experience. Whether it's streaming our favorite shows or gaming online, the entire family enjoys uninterrupted, high-quality content. In summary, Safaricom Home Fiber has been a game changer for us. It has made working from home more efficient, helped my children stay on top of their education, and brought joy to our family time. Safaricom Home Fiber has truly connected us to the world without limits. Wow. So, Brian, 3,000 shillings is
Airtime.
yours. Airtime is yours.
Itakuja kwako. Bio sana.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done and congratulations.
Very good, very good. So next week, Monday, we have more winners, 3,000 airtime, courtesy of Safaricom Home Fiber. City. And how much for Loop? 2,500.
Yes.
Okay.
That is the amount.
That's the amount. And all you need to do is download Loop.
You just begin the journey, download the app.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll have a lovely weekend. My voice and Ndu are going on leave next week.
I take your voice with me.
Yeah. Yeah. So you want to go with my voice?
I'll maybe return it just for a little bit, but then
you'll be attending the coronation of a king.
Yes.
And the said king happens to be your uncle, your mother's brother. Hey, so you are like Okoh. Wewe ni royalty.
But you guys have never believed in me when I told you.
No, will you be live streaming the thing?
I'll do one day for you.
And the event is 3 days.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
You know the population of Nigeria, how many kings are there?
What? Don't be.
See, unaona sasa.
Everyone is significant.
Well, enjoy your leave. Sawa.
Asante sana.
Sawa?
Thank you. And you take care of yourself.
I will. Please leave my voice here with me. Have a lovely weekend, people. Enjoy yourself. City, say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.
It's now 10 o'clock with Safaricom. Go monthly with an all-in-one bundle and enjoy convenience and value with Safaricom. For just 2,000 bob a month, enjoy 17 GB data.